If you don't understand the details of your business and have been missold on its stability, then you're going to fail. Jeffrey Bezos. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, terms and conditions do apply. This is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles and I am back and I'm here to help you procrastinate. With me today, the CEO of Hello Games, it's Stig.
I'm Vengeance.
Okay. The PR chief of Bethesda, it's Candy.
Hey! Hello. It's true.
Quality assurance from Zack Snyder's Stone Quarry Productions, it's Gadget.
No.
No, yes.
No. Don't put me in with Zack Snyder. Fucking hell.
And human resources from Ubisoft International, it's Biggie. Hello. So, I'm back. But before I want to discuss my return, we have things to sell, don't we?
Yes. We do.
Yes.
Yes. I'm Batman. That's it.
You're not Batman.
I am. Yeah, if you like what we do, you can head over to patreon.com/Modern Escapism. On there, you'll find the 3 tiers that we do. First up, it's Modern Escapees for £5 a month. You'll get an extended edition of this episode every week, as well as at least one monthly special and any other specials we put out. And also, as you can tell from last week's, you have the ability to suggest topics for us to do. If you are into Dungeons and Dragons, we do a D&D play podcast called Do Dragons Dream of Scorched Sheep, and for £5 the Scorched Sheep tier gets you ad-free early access of the episode, as well as original artwork from Candy, any battle maps and character sheets Gadget puts together, and any original music that we do as well. And you'll also be able to suggest NPCs and items for Gadget to use. And for £7.50, it's the Biggie Bundle. That gets you everything, including Naked Biggie.
I'm still awaiting my Naked Biggie, but...
All prices subject to VAT.
Yes! Excellent. So normally what we do here, we'd go through the Nexus, but I have some feedback from myself.
Uh-oh.
Dearest escapees, last week I was away from the podcast due to losing my voice. I regret abandoning you all for such a trivial reason, but without a voice, a podcaster is nothing. The team adequately stepped in, with the rallying support of Stig hosting, and he did a brilliant job to push a tight, if somewhat lengthy podcast to its conclusion without a hiccup. It has come to light that I was lambasted for taking the opportunity of losing my voice to sit and play computer games. Let me take this opportunity to speak the truth on what happened. Yes, I did. I spent the time I'd be on the podcast playing computer games because my eyes, hands and other motor functions were fully operational at the time. And I'm not ashamed of what I did. Again, thank you for the team for pushing on and going forward. Full transparency will be divulged to listeners and patrons for any absences in the future. Thank you. Also, another letter was sent in. He says here, Dear Oodles, thank you for allowing me to take part in your awe-inspiring podcast this past episode. It's a shame we couldn't podcast together on that show. Any comments made against you were in jest and a part of my internet persona, and I'd never ever want to offend you, my special friend. You're a kind, sweet, precious boy, and I look forward to sharing a podcast with you in the future. Kindest regards, your humble Prince of Ireland and international lover, Deadbeat Punk. Thank you for that feedback, Deadbeat Punk.
Never heard of her.
I appreciate that. So yeah,
totally legit.
It's totally legit. It got sent by mail on a postcard.
You can hear the sound of Guinness pint glasses smashing in the background.
So yes,
What did that cunt say?
I wasn't poorly last week, as you kept saying.
Pretty much the same thing.
No, I had a poorly voice. I couldn't speak, but I'm back now.
You are a poorly voice.
Yes, but let's just crack on with the Nexus. And I want to start with
on Elden Ring.
Wow,
He's finished it.
I'll talk about that later. Let's start with you then, gobshite biggie.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Mid-vape is the worst time to be called upon.
So,
Vaping
yes,
podcast.
I was given a lovely Christmas present from friend of the show, Emflem, and it was a couple of tickets to go and see Reginald D. Hunter live. And he appeared
comedian.
locally, and he was really good. He's
It's great.
currently doing his Bomb Shuffler tour. And if you have a chance to catch it, please do. It's very funny. It's literally him standing there for at least an hour with some pretty near the knuckles stuff. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I'd love to go through a couple of his jokes. I don't think they're suitable for the pod. But yeah, he was excellent. One other thing I've been watching is From Bedrooms to Billions. Have you guys heard of this?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Sounds like my life.
It's not the title of my sex tape. It is, in fact, a documentary on it was filmed in 2014. It's a documentary by British filmmakers Anthony and Nicola Caulfield, and it's basically about the British video game industry from 79 to present day, obviously for when it was filmed. And it's really cool. It just talks about the bedroom coders, computer game magazines, all that kind of stuff. Just tells a story of the highs and the lows. Some of the key people obviously are all doing. It's like a Talking Heads documentary, but it's really well presented. There's footage from games just to give you that little bit of nostalgia. It's excellent. They've also got an Amiga one which I want to catch, and a PlayStation one as well. They originally approached Channel 4 and BBC with an idea to do it as like a 3-part documentary series, but they were turned down. So they ended up going on, I think it was Indiegogo, and then a Kickstarter to fund the movies. But yeah, it was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. Just go and check it out if you're into anything retro. Really, really interesting stories. Some of the stuff you probably won't know about, but yeah, they just covered it really well. And the Peter Molyneux's obviously talking. Mark Cerny's on there.
So there's lies everywhere and promises that they'll never come be.
But there's Rob Hubbard.
Oh, we've got Peter Molyneux on our documentary series. What's he going to say? Bullshit is what he's going to say.
I
I'm
just
bringing out
almost did the
5
Peter
new
Griffin
Fable
thing.
games.
But no, do you know what? He was really
Over
honest on that. He gave some honest stuff.
Honest
about
with his
early
bullshittery.
days. But there's apparently a
It's perfect
special
for this-
edition.
This topic.
It's perfect. It really is.
There's
It really is.
a
Goddess.
special edition available as well, which I want to try and track down. Which has got by the way, it's about 2.5 hours. So they've got a special edition with an additional 120 odd minutes of making of certain games from the past and stuff. So I'm going to try and track that down at some point. But it's really, really cool. But the biggest thing I do want to talk about is an update to the wallpaper engine. That it's now
Are you back on that?
it's now got an app on it so you can use it on your phone. So the wallpaper.
Do you know how hard it is to
on
do
your phone.
pod art for the wallpaper engine?
Yeah,
Doing-
but it's so cool. I love it. I've now got.
It's
all this-
not.
It is. It's got lovely If you've got the ones you like on your desktop, they're now animated on your phone. It's amazing.
Mate, I know how to use Photoshop. I can make my own wallpaper.
But this is all done for you, so you don't need to. And I also caught Ghostbusters Afterlife as well, and really,
It's good, isn't it?
really enjoyed that. Thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it surprised me, that one, because I watched it over a month, and yeah, it's quite heartfelt, isn't it? It's a good.
It's great. I mean, as
It's a good homage to what's his name? Plays Egon. The guy who
Harold
retired.
Ramis. Yeah.
Harold Ramis. That's it.
But like, I think was it Stiggy or somebody mentioned it last week? That it ignores what happened with the Ghostbusters 2. It does seem like that never existed. So there's this massive gap from the original movie and then this. But yeah,
It also doesn't, like Stig mentioned that as well. It doesn't add up with the timeline that Egon's daughter's like nearly 40, and he didn't have a daughter in the 80s.
yeah. But it's fine. You can let those sort of things
What happened? It don't matter. It's a kids' film.
I do think it's a bit silly that they missed out Ghostbusters 2. It is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's pointless. It's not.
There's no
More
reason why
happened to
it
New
had
York
to
in
be.
Ghostbusters 2 than it did
Yeah,
in Ghostbusters
exactly.
1. The Titanic arrived.
And the Statue of Liberty moved across the city.
Exactly.
I'm sure they would have made the headlines, but it's it obviously leaves it open for a sequel. I think so. I'm interested to see if they go down that route.
Yeah, man.
But,
Excellent.
yeah,
Busy week then, busy week.
That's pretty much it for me. No gaming, unfortunately.
Shame. Candy, you've been diddling.
I've been diddling quite a lot, actually. It's been a busy week for me too. So I started a TV show called Joe versus Carol, which is a like a comedy drama based on the events we saw on Tiger King, which I didn't know was coming out. It just kind of dropped out of nowhere, which is a bit of a shocker.
I'm desperate to hear you talk about this ever since
There was
you
a
said you were
season.
watching it.
There was a season 2 of Tiger King as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
don't
but it
it's
wasn't so
shite.
good.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Not worth watching.
I don't think
really.
the first season was that good either.
Yeah, but then you realise it's actually happening and it's good.
And
Yeah.
the second season of Tiger King is just actively pointless.
I still
Like,
don't
there's
know
not-
how legitimate the original is. I don't know how truthful it is, to be fair.
At least with the first season of Tiger King, there is a coherent narrative that runs all the way through it from the start to the point where Joe Exotic's put in prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second season of it is only 5 episodes long, and it's just, oh, this is what this person was doing. Oh, someone was trying to get Joe out of jail, but nothing happened. And oh, Carol Baskin may still have killed her husband. Here's 3 episodes on that, and it's just fuck off.
It was more about that guy
Shit.
Doc, wasn't it? Doc something or other.
Yeah.
With all the girlfriends.
Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So yeah, no, I haven't finished this yet. I've got to the point where his staff member has an arm off, and
He's
I was
got
really
an arm off.
I was so disappointed because they didn't use the line, "I'm never going to financially recover from this." Like they straight up didn't say it, and that was the best bit. But it's got Kate McKinnon in it as Carol Baskin. She's an executive producer as well, so it's
It's a drama.
it's kind of a comedy drama.
Oh, I
I mean,
thought
it
it was a
couldn't be.
documentary again.
No,
Oh,
it's
is
an actually it's
a
a
show.
drama based on it. It's a proper show. And it is reasonably sort of sympathetic to both Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin, or it has been so far. But my God, it has really lent into the camp side of Joe Exotic. For example, like the first scene that he's in, he's wearing a pink sequined cowboy shirt, a cowboy hat, which he does wear, and the old kind of leather necklace with the cock ring in the middle.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
They've really, really camped him up. They haven't shied away from that part of his personality at all.
I always loved in the original where he had a singing career, but he never sang on any other tracks.
Oh,
He's got like
they were
six
Blue Collar
brilliant.
Montana.
They were brilliant.
He was a stripper as well at one point.
I bet he bloody was.
He was very popular with the ladies, apparently. I guess that's how they roll in Oklahoma or wherever.
You're not supposed to. Test your own wares, are you? So it's a good job he was a stripper for the ladies.
This is true. So I haven't finished that. So far, so good. The other thing I watched was I finally saw The Invisible Man. I know I'm at the cutting edge of
that's
releases. at the
cool.
moment.
I've still yet to see it.
I was pleasantly surprised by this because I think it got more or less panned, didn't it, when it first came out?
Not as much as the Kevin Bacon one.
Oh, you've got to love a bit of bacon, though. Purely
No, I
bacon
don't eat
for
meat.
bacon's sake. No, I love a bit of bacon. But this one was, it wasn't like a supernatural type thing, which I think probably most people were expecting, which is why when it came out, it was, it got kind of mediocre reviews. It's actually...
So he doesn't take an invisibility potion and become a rapey bastard.
Oh, he's still a rapey bastard. Well, more of a violent rapey bastard, actually.
But
The
that's
worst kind.
before he becomes the Invisible Man.
Yeah. So it's basically a story of kind of spousal abuse and stalking and that kind of
And
thing.
I feel bad for laughing.
Yeah, you asshole. Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised at it and what kind of where that leads if somebody who is already inclined to be like that gets hold of something that can make him invisible. And yeah, it's more of a, like I said, it's more of a horror than a sci-fi, really, and just a tale of somebody being stalked and the paranoia, like, is she actually going mad or...
Yeah, it's got
Is
the
it
lady
actually
from
happening?
Mad Men in it, hasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's really good. That's really bad of me, sorry.
This was
So yeah, that was...
That's the name, Elizabeth Moss.
That's right, sorry, Elizabeth Moss, apologies. So that was quite a pleasant surprise, really. I enjoyed it more than I was expecting.
Yeah, my wife and I had seen that and really liked it.
Yeah, very good.
It's ridiculous at times, but
it's about an invisible man.
Yeah, but you have to. That's what I mean. You have to. But once you understand how he's doing it, it's ridiculous, but it works so well in the movie.
Yeah, you have to suspend disbelief a little bit, but I mean, Invisible Man, come on. Yeah. But yeah, the main thing I want to talk about is the Boys spin-off, which is called The Boys Diabolical. And this is the animated spin-off series of the comic and TV adaptation of The Boys. It's like a 8-episode anthology written and animated by different studios. And as always, it's a kind of different style of animation on every episode. And they all revolve around this kind of nefarious goings-on with Vor. And actually, they've come out and said that some of the episodes are canon. They specifically the final episode, which kind of stars Homelander and how he and his relationship with Black Noir as well. Actually, do you know what? Whilst I was having a look at this, Anthony Starr is officially a baddie, by the way.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
He's been
in real life.
In real life, turns out he is a cunt after all. Yeah,
he's drinking breast milk.
Not that much of a baddie. Jesus Christ!
That's what he does in the show.
No, he just assaulted someone. It wasn't that bad.
Did he blow them up with his lasers?
No, I don't think so. It sounded like it was a glass.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's a suspended prison sentence.
Yeah, so serious baddie.
Oh no!
But anyway, that aside.
He assaulted a chef.
Yeah, some baddie. He's been to the Jeremy Clarkson School of Cuntery.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear!
Now there's a pod title.
No, it's not happening.
There is not a pod title.
But yeah, no. Going back to the show. So one thing that all the episodes do have in common is they're all just absolutely gross. Like there's blood and gore all over the place. It's way worse than the TV show. Imagine do you remember Happy Tree Friends? Yeah, I bet they are. So it's kind of like Happy Tree Friends having a coked up fight, basically.
Fuck, I haven't thought about Happy Tree Friends since back when I used to smoke weed.
Back when everyone shopped at Hot Topic.
When My Chemical Romance were in my heart.
Oh, so good. Every episode's about 15 minutes long, so I just binged them all last night, just in one sitting. There are a few highlights. I think there was one episode that's written by Awkwafina, written by and starring Awkwafina, actually, and it's without giving too much away. So basically the whole series kind of focuses on what happens if you give Compound V to sort of random people and the so-called powers that they end up with, because it's actually very few people that end up with anything cool. And this particular one, let's just say it involves a lot of poo, and there's a lot of poo control. Oh yeah. Listen, I'm a simple woman, and toilet humour amuses me. But most episodes are on the kind of funnier side of things. There are a few, like there's one that is quite heartfelt, actually, and quite sad. And there's a couple of more serious episodes, but they're all pretty funny. One of the funnier episodes involves... Okay, I've written down these character names. There's a character called Boombox. He's got a speaker for a head, but he can only play one Hootie and the Blowfish song. So he's got to use his power. That's nothing compared to the next one. So the next character is called Ranch Dressing Cum Squirter.
I wonder what his power is.
We don't really need to, you don't need to dive into that, literally.
If you go to the shop and you go back, you're like, fuck, I forgot some dip.
Don't worry, love, I'm on it.
A quick wank.
Yeah, there you go. Sorted.
I'm so not having fajitas at your fucking house.
What has this podcast become?
Weekly smut with modern escapism. And there's one character called Boobyface, who's voiced by Kevin Smith. Boobyface is a particular favourite of mine. But the actual cast themselves, there's so many random people in it. You've got Jason Isaacs, Simon Pegg, who actually finally gets to play Huey. Huey, like the comic book Huey, is actually
rather
based
than his
on
dad.
Because he's too old now. But comic book Huey was actually based on Simon Pegg, or I think it was based on Tim from Space, wasn't it?
Yes, he even looks like him.
Literally, he looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz, Don Cheadle, Michael Cera, Christian Slater, Kevin Smith, Keenan Thompson.
Christian Slater.
Sounding particularly Christian Slater as well. He's in the second episode, sorry. Aquafina, Seth Rogen, and Andy Samberg, along with other members of the actual TV show as well. And as I said before, like some of the episodes or some parts of the episodes, it is considered canon. The next series of The Boys is out in a couple of months, I think, 2 months.
Yeah,
summer, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're planning on watching it, it's probably worth catching up with The Boys Diabolical before it starts. So, but just prepared not to take it too seriously. And if you don't like blood splatters, then just don't bother.
If you don't like blood splatters, why would you be watching The Boys
exactly,
in the first place? I mean, remember the whale?
Oh, we all remember.
Forget
the
that.
whale.
Remember when he put the bomb up the guy's ass?
Oh yeah, that was good. That was in the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun.
Excellent. Stig, come on. I believe you've been to Gotham, haven't you?
I have, but I took a trip elsewhere before I got there. So
Oh, did you? A detour?
yeah, I went on a bit of a detour. Firstly, I went to Texas. Well, actually,
Texas.
technically, I went to the Texas after, but I'm going to talk about this first because it's a bag of shit. New Texas Chainsaw Massacre film on Netflix. Don't watch it. It's absolute shite.
Is it?
It does that typical. It's talking about things that are missold. Oh, we're taking it back to its roots, back to all this. We're gonna make it a direct sequel of the first one and get rid of all the other sequels. You know, like kind of how Halloween did.
And Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, it's this new thing where they just seem to just forget everything else that happened in between.
Yeah, Halloween especially, because that's forgot like 7 films, hasn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, it's just shit. It's just.
Is it not good then? Is it set in the modern day?
It's not set in the modern day. It's not scary. It's not anything as good as the first one. It even brings back the character that survives the first one. And
yeah.
It's just shit.
I think the first one's incredible, especially how it's like well lit.
The first one is like genuinely like freaky, really
when he's
scary.
in the washing, with all the washings on the clothes.
Yeah, and that fucking the dinner scene. Is so just fucking ugh. But yeah, this is just your typical. Let's have him running around killing everyone that just gets in his way in imaginative ways, and isn't that fun?
Yeah.
No,
that's a shame.
Yeah, don't watch that. Terrible film. The other thing that I did this week was I started Vikings Valhalla. So Vikings Valhalla is a spin-off follow-on series from the show Vikings. This takes place about 100 years after the end of the Viking series. It's a bit of an odd one, really, because it doesn't feel like its own thing at all. It generally just feels like it's the next series of Vikings.
Before you go into it, I think it's odd that isn't the Vikings an Amazon show and Vikings Valhalla is a Netflix show.
It's made by a production company, so
they can Amazon be anyone can have it.
Yeah. Amazon bought Vikings as a series, but Netflix bought.
It really confused me. That.
Yeah, no, it's just.
I saw the trailer for this the other day when I was flicking around Netflix, and I watched it. And I thought, hang on, didn't Vikings finish last year? Like it does, because I'd missed the title card.
It's just the same thing.
It looks exactly the same. Like the look of the show is the same.
Oh, it's exactly the same. There's no difference. Like I said, in Vikings, they take between a few seasons, even some mid-seasons as well, they take some time jumps.
Yeah.
When they want to get to certain events, they're just like, oh, we don't need to build something up for 5 series. It's like, fuck it, these kids are now adults. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just they get there because it just gets rid of all the filler.
I did like that show, actually.
But this takes a 100-year jump. And again, like I said, it just feels like could have been part of the series. It could have been the end of Vikings, right? Next series coming back, it's brand new characters, and it kind of finishes off the Viking story in Britain. This is apparently going to tell the basic downfall of the Vikings and how Vikings kind of ended over in England and over Europe and things like that. So
they tried to expand too far. They went to Vinland and it ruined them.
They went everywhere. They ended up in Canada, some of them.
That's Vinland, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, it does not hit the heights of the quality that you get from seasons 1 to 3. It feels very much like it's those mid seasons of Vikings. So it's enjoyable enough. Still getting used to some of the characters. I haven't finished.
There's plenty of shagging in it.
There's a bit of shagging in it, especially in the first episode. Everyone looks historically wrong still.
Yeah,
I was going to say, have they all got perfect white teeth?
Yeah, all perfect white
hair.
teeth, perfect hair, like modern haircuts,
braided hair.
Yeah, like no, Vikings never had hair like you see in Vikings or Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Never looked like that once. But sexy Vikings is better than historically accurate.
Yeah, I'd rather look at a sexy Viking than an ugly one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun if you like Vikings and if you like The Last Kingdom and that kind of show. You might as well just give it a watch because you're not going to lose anything. It's enjoyable enough, and it's nice to be back in that kind of world. And
I'm going to jump onto it next week, I think.
Yeah, I've got a few episodes left to finish it, but it's I've enjoyed it so far. That's it.
No, it's not, you liar.
No, it's not. Because it's the Batman.
You fibber.
Oh, the Batman. I'm going to start by saying this off the bat. I think this is my favourite Batman film.
I'm going to start by saying this is the first time I've not seen a Batman day one in my life since I've been old enough to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
I feel terrible for not going, but something else got in the way this week.
I don't know whether it's just the time over the years, and I still love The Dark Knight. I still think it's a great film, but like the more people talk about it, the more you hear about it, and the more you hear about its problems. And maybe this will happen with this film at some point. It does lose a bit of its shine until you go back and watch it. But I think maybe I need to go back and watch it and make my mind up again. But as far as this film goes, it's directed by Matt Reeves. It's got an absolute stellar cast. Robert Pattinson plays the lead role of Batman / Bruce Wayne. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Paul Dano as the Riddler. Colin Farrell, who's unrecognisable as the Penguin.
Wait, hang on, that's Colin Farrell?
Yeah.
Fuck me, that's some good makeup.
He said that in an interview, he said that he would walk around site and he nearly got kicked off the lot because people didn't realise it was him. Because it's just he walked up to Jeffrey Wright, and Jeffrey Wright went and said something and went off to speak to Matt Reeves and came back. He's like, I didn't realise it was you.
I saw when he said on one of the talk shows where he went to Starbucks and he was staying in character, quite method, and people were saying he was being a bit abrasive and aggressive. But he does like the fact that he can walk around as Oswald Cobblepot and no one knows it's Colin Farrell who's going to get hounded to fuck. Yeah.
So as I said, it's got Jeffrey Wright in. He plays Lieutenant Gordon, John Turturro as Falcone,
Lieutenant Gordon,
and Andy Serkis as what's his name? The butler. Fucking hell.
Alfred.
I
forgot the butler.
Forgot his name for a second then.
Master Wayne.
Yeah.
The size of a tangerine.
So yeah, absolutely stellar cast. So this one, weirdly, it feels fresh and new, which is an odd thing to say about a dark, gritty Batman film.
Yeah.
But it is very noir in its setting and its storytelling and setup. It's more of a detective crime thriller with, your typical Batman action thrown in there, like absolutely kick-ass, crunchy fighting. It feels like it's fighting feels a little bit like it's out of the Arkham games. I feel like not as many flips and turns, but like that kind of crunchy, like
but loads of bones broken.
Yeah, hard hitting fighting.
Because if you remember, Christian Bale just elbowed every fucker, didn't he?
Yeah.
He literally elbowed everyone.
That trailer with
the
new one, isn't that the one with the gunshots used as the beats of the drum? I mean, it was so cool.
Yeah,
which is from it's from Dark Knight Returns. That
was it?
Yeah. In the comic book, there's a panel where he's.
So this is
so cool.
Taking a lot of inspiration from various different places. Inspiration from The Long Halloween, Seven, Zodiac. So the Riddler is kind of based on the Zodiac killer.
Oh, really?
Has a few aspects of Saw in there at times, and it's kind of mixing all that in together to, like I said, to make this like detective crime thriller. The performances are just brilliant throughout. Every single person in this film is on point. There's not one person in this film that I think lets it down whatsoever. I think the film lets Andy Serkis down a little bit. That's my only possible problem with it. He's not given enough to do.
He has been in every Matt Reeves film, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's
Even as a monkey.
an ape. Come on.
And, sorry, Caesar, if you're listening. I do apologise.
Planet of the Monkeys.
This is how they take over. Mistakes like that.
Sorry.
But Arpat spends his time for the majority of this film as Batman. It's very much a Batman film. Not a lot of Bruce Wayne. If you've seen the trailers and the pictures and stuff, you'll see he's very emo Bruce. He hasn't found that side of him yet. He hasn't found that persona. He's still kind of a bit down when he's Bruce Wayne. You can see from the pictures the kind of person he sits around in his eyeliner listening to Nirvana and not really giving a shit about Wayne Enterprises and his money and stuff like that. Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, it looked like Year 1, Year 0 Batman.
It's Year 2.
Is it Year 2? Oh, Year 2.
So he is explicitly playing a younger Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Than other Batman have played.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. I like this.
So he, it's like I said, it's set in Year 2, which I think is really good because what it does from the off is it has faith in Batman and the characters. It has faith in the audience and the film, knowing that we know who Penguin is, we know who Catwoman is. They just exist in this world. There is no need to set any of them up. They're just there.
Is the pills?
I'll get to that.
Oh no!
And the way it's set up is that the people, when they see the bat signal, it's all in the opening bit. Like the gangs and the people, they know what it means. They know.
That's
good.
Good.
They see the bat signal. They know this means trouble, and they're there, kind of looking around in the shadows, waiting for him. And he has this grip on the city of you see in the trailer. He says, "I'm vengeance." Like that's what he is. He is out there patrolling the streets and basically just taking down criminal scum. But this story, he gets kind of dragged into this murder mystery involving the Riddler, who's kind of going around and killing all these people, these kind of high people in office and in the police and everything, and he's kind of revealing the corruption within the city. And it's this big old murder mystery on who is behind all this and who is the Riddler trying to out and everything like that.
So he actually gets to be a detective this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, he has to do a bit of detective work, more so than just, I'm going to click a button on my mobile and be able to see everything like he does in The Dark Knight.
Detective vision.
Yeah, but if you remember, Lucius Fox did say, if you use this, I want nothing to do with it.
Mm. But I think that's what all the Batman films lacked so far, is he's meant to be the world's greatest detective, and you don't really get that side of it from any of the films.
He's in almost the films. He's just a multi-billionaire beating the shit out of poor people.
Yeah, in the comics, the better Batman books are the ones where he is a detective, where he is a flawed person as well. He's not Sherlock Holmes. He can't magic a solution like Sherlock Holmes does.
Yeah,
the Bat computer can though.
Sometimes,
but he does do some detective work, but he still has his flaws, which is one of the things I really liked. There's still things he misses. There's still things, even in fight. Even in the fight scenes and stuff, he doesn't get it right every time. He's still learning to be the Batman. Like I said, he's only 2 years into this. He's still trying to figure out who he is and who the Batman is as well.
That's refreshing compared to like Ben Affleck, who was 15 years strong Batman. Do you know what I mean? It's very refreshing.
Murder Bat.
Yeah, Murder Bat. Gun Bat.
Yeah. But yeah, it takes a nice, really good arc with Batman throughout this. Like I said, Paul Dano as the Riddler is brilliant. He's absolutely
brilliant at everything.
Which is what you'd expect with Paul Dano taking on a villain role.
Does he do his Paul Dano noises? Like,
yeah.
Good.
So many noises.
He's so weird, but I love him, and he's so creepy as an actor.
What's he from?
Paul Dano's incredible. He's from everything. There Will Be Blood, mainly, I think. That's his biggest role.
He was in Prisoners as well, wasn't he?
Prisoners.
Yeah.
His
performance in Prisoners was harrowing.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But yeah, Zoe Kravitz as well. She plays her role to perfection. She's both seductive and vulnerable. And
she's not ugly, is she?
Oh, she's just... She's beautiful. I can't say anything. Like,
there's no other words for it.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely stunning in this, but she plays the role perfectly as well. It's not just about the way she looks. She has the confidence and everything within the character, and there is a lot of chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson as well. So that's good to see.
Oof,
but
them babies.
the things that I love about this more than so, I think, is Gotham City feels like Gotham again. It's moody, it's dark, it's dank, it's dirty. It feels like a character. It doesn't. My biggest issue I have with the Dark Knight trilogy is that Gotham felt like Gotham in the first film, and then the next two films, it was
Chicago
/ New York City. There was no character to the city at all. It just felt like a regular old American metropolis city.
It's weird because in Batman Begins is like proper like Art Nouveau architecture and a monorail and everything.
Yeah, and the steam and shit everywhere.
It's got the Narrows and the steam, and then the next film, it's a completely different city.
Big glass fronted buildings.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
What the fuck happened in 2 years?
But this is it feels like Gotham. You are in Gotham again.
I want to see steam coming out of
It
fucking.
feels like it's the Gotham that you get in Arkham City and Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
It's that kind of Gotham. So there are still
Yeah.
aspects
Kind of
of a big city, but you still have that horrible dirtiness of what you think
Like,
Gotham
I
is.
didn't-
Has it got that kind of like that feel? You get it in the Arkham games. You also you got the one good thing the Joel Schumacher films managed to get was that kind of the idea of the city reaching over the top of you. Because that's kind of the always impression I get of when Gotham's done
It was
well. It's
quite
like this,
futuristic though, the Schumacher ones, weren't it? It was quite.
no, but it had a lot of like Art Deco stuff to it. And it was like the city was bigger than it needed to be. It was over the top in a way that was felt oppressive.
I always liked the
it had character
city
at least, didn't it? In those films.
I don't really like the film, but the Joker, it had one of the best cities where there's litter everywhere on the streets and
giant rats. That's just straight up New York, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's
that's
more
just
New York than New York
New
is.
York.
Yeah.
yeah, I like that though.
But yeah,
It's,
the cinematography in it is brilliant. The rain, there's so much rain in this film. There is so much of Batman standing around in the rain, but it works because it looks fantastic.
There's a lot of talk about the length of the movie. Did you think it was too long?
Didn't bother me one bit. Didn't feel
cool.
it.
I don't mind long movies.
No, I don't either,
nothing.
but
3 hours.
people
3
refer
hours
to
is
it.
fuck all.
Yeah, and it's just so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it again. The best thing, one of my favorite things about it is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so good, so
I've heard
good.
that there's not a lot of soundtrack tracks, but they're
It's
brilliant.
the atmosphere of the soundtrack and the way
Yeah,
it's used. That
He's not overdone it.
You know that theme that plays at the end of the trailer as he's walking towards the car. It's like dum 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 dum, like that. There are several different variations of that theme played throughout this film, but done so effectively, and it builds. There's moments where Batman's not around, but you just hear that building, and like it's like, oh, he's coming. He's coming out of the shadows now. Yeah, he's coming. And the car chase scene, like from the trailer as well, is absolutely brilliant. That Batmobile is so meaty and so loud and fucking incredible. And I want the Lego.
It's like a fucking
I want the
dragon.
Lego Technics version of it. I want it.
Yeah.
I want that Batmobile.
I've seen the Lego set.
I like that. I like the fact that the Batmobile this time is like it's a modified car, isn't it? It's a car.
Yes,
It looks like something
as
from
opposed
Mad
to a
Max.
tank.
but it's still
As opposed to a tank, or as opposed to whatever the fuck Joel Schumacher made.
but it's still got that
If-
jet engine on the back.
Yeah.
If anyone had come up with some sort of vehicle challenge thing that they might do on a podcast, how would that Batmobile do in that?
Let it
would
drop.
sit-
Let it
it would-
go.
No.
The problem with this Batmobile is it is just a fast car. It's with a bit of reinforcement. There are no gadgets on it as of yet. But it still looks great and sounds great. When he rolls that engine up in the cinema, it is like full on like shakes the cinema. Like,
A mate
it
of
was
mine
so
from
loud.
work he went to see it in 4D, and he said he fucking there was no point in taking any food in with him. He was just getting rattled throughout the whole film.
I just couldn't do a 4D one, me.
I've done it once, and I'll never do it again because I threw up.
Yeah, a brilliant film. Absolutely loved it. I think I know you will love it, Oodles. I think it's right down your alley. I can't make my mind up on what Candy likes these days after a few things that me and her have
Some bad takes.
like things and not like things opposite of each other. So
do you know what I feel like? I feel already like I'm going to like it just from the trailers and from, like you said, like the music and just the overall style. I'd be very, very surprised if I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm going tomorrow.
I was surprised that you didn't like June.
Everyone was. I just didn't. Sorry. I apologise.
No, the atmosphere is like, it's proper goth. You probably will love it.
Yeah, I'm going to put extra eyeliner on.
Yeah.
Judging by some of the posters and the artwork, Andy, I reckon you're going to end up having to tattoo about half that film onto people anyway.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I almost bought a poster of it yesterday. I haven't even seen it yet.
Which I don't think it's a spoiler because it is Batman. No killing, no guns, and he makes a point of that.
Yes.
It actually makes a point of it in the film.
I hate when Batman kills. I hate it. It's like when Spider-Man kills as well in the Spider-Man games. Like, he's just come off a building. Like, I never want to see that in a superhero.
No,
I know Captain America kills. He's allowed to kill.
In the Spider-Man games, he touches. If you throw someone off a building, they get
stuck to a building.
They better do.
No, they do. They all do.
I fucking hope so.
Every person that he kicks off. Yeah.
I'm playing it going, oh no, what have I done? What's Aunt May going to think? And then I'm like, I can't continue. Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, good. I'm glad. No killing. Perfect. What a week. Gadget, what have you been doing?
So it's not really much of a week of updates because I've basically just been Elden Ringing entirely.
Crap that.
Oh, I did a lot of that as well,
worst.
but I didn't see the point of talking about it.
But before I touch on any of that, I finished my complete rewatch of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and finally got to see season 15 of it.
Guess what? Me too.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the last season. I know some people are a bit down on it. Some people think there's a couple of episodes are a bit weak. I think there is one episode that is weak, which I think it's the one with the guy that's threatening to jump off the roof.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
That was a bit weak, that one, because it just kind of didn't go anywhere.
It tried something, didn't it? It just didn't work.
Yeah, but I love the one with the monkey working behind the bar.
Yeah.
That was brilliant, which then obviously leads into the kind of the 4-part thing where they go.
Fucking incredible.
Oh, it's great. It's perfect. It leads the 4-parter where they go to Ireland,
which I adored. I adored it.
It gets fucking wild there. There's some really funny moments.
The mountain stuff is incredible.
The mountain stuff is incredible. Really, really. Actually, considering it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the emotional scene that Charlie gets towards the end of that is incredible.
Dude, fucking hell, that hit me, that.
Yeah, that was
I'm the
really,
same as him
really
because
good.
I've got daddy issues.
I was not surprised in the slightest to see in the Ireland episodes that Colmini turns up because you can't do anything in Ireland without Colmini standing outside wanting to get in.
He is good though, isn't he? He is good.
Oh, he's very good. The subplot of Dennis having COVID.
When he's talking to the castle. I just love.
It's when he's in the
when
they're in the estate agents and he's trying not to cough. Yeah.
He's going.
Yeah, absolutely creased at that. But yeah, I think you can tell like what the kind of stuff that they want to make. Like I'm sure whoever's directing it at the minute is a frustrated Jordan Peele because that whole thing in the castle where like Dennis is like hallucinating, he's like walking around with an axe to kill Dee.
He's fucking talking to the castle.
I haven't got COVID.
The castle's telling him to do things.
It looks like something like Jordan Peele would have put into Key and Peele, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of fake horror thing. So funny.
And that stuff in the bog with the waitress.
Oh, yes.
One of my other favourite Dennis moments is, what's spoil it, but it's just the bit where he's just going off about Mac's tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's stood on the side of a mountain screaming at Mac.
There's so many unhinged Dennis moments in this series.
Yeah. Whenever Glenn Howerton's allowed to start screaming, that's it. That's perfect.
I think he's getting more and more sociopathic as it's going on. He's
just as sociopathic as he has been.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's true.
I did
watch them all fast.
They built up Dennis as a sociopath from like season 4.
Yeah, he was quite quiet in the originals.
Yeah, it's always little things. It's little lines. Like there's that moment where he says to Dee, "Don't worry. I've got a track record of covering up blunt force trauma."
Yeah. It's like what?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. I'll talk briefly about Elden Ring because there is something else I do want to talk about. Elden Ring, absolutely fucking loving it. I've put in about 20 hours into my PS5 character at this point. I'm rocking on a bit. I've beaten a lot of bosses. I've enjoyed killing a lot of bosses. I've gotten through some of the harder ones. The game continues to surprise me. The game continues to put stuff that I would never expect them to do in there. Some beautiful vistas. There are some brutally difficult enemies. There are some easy enemies as well.
Yeah, there is.
But I'm just enjoying discovering stuff. Like, I just went on a little quest at one point. Went down to the south. I think I did all that stuff you did last week, Stig, in the Weeping Peninsula.
It's my favourite area.
It took me about 4 hours to go through most of it and just enjoy it. Knocked out about 4 or 5 bosses down there.
Castle Morn.
Yeah, to Castle Morn.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. It was a nice venture out for an afternoon. Got to go down the beach and kill a guy with a lion's head.
It genuinely feels like the most George R.R. Martin area, that, to me.
Yeah, it does. It's got a Game of Thrones feel about it. It
really does, and I thought, maybe that's all he's done.
I've got a question for you.
Trust me, that's all you get.
Look and crannies in that castle as well.
You know, you're talking about a lot of bosses. So, obviously, from my own experience of Dark Souls, that some of the bosses are mad. They're
not the same.
Horrendous creatures and stuff. So, I mean, when you mention bosses, are they just sort of, what kind of bosses are they?
It's not like you think bosses. There's like prime bosses, and then there's just bosses.
Mm.
So the prime, I've beaten, as Oodles would say, I've beaten 3 of the prime bosses so far, which one of them's a Tree Sentinel, which is like an overworld boss when you walk out the door.
Finally.
He says something when you kill him, like "great enemy felled" or something like that when you've beaten a real boss.
Yeah, I beat Margit, who is like he's like a big roadblock. He's like Father Gascoigne in Bloodborne.
Margaret.
Margit. He's designed to be not impossible, but like a real roadblock if you haven't understood how to play the game properly yet, or
he's the meat wall.
What you should do.
He's a fully meat wall. He's telling you to go back and explore.
And then I've beaten Godric in Stormvale Castle.
Good man.
Who was an absolute bastard, but I enjoyed that fight because that fight is so fucking cool.
One of my favourites.
I'm not going to spoil what happens in the fight, but oh my god, when he gets into a second phase and the fight changes completely,
so good.
It's just. But I did find my favourite boss so far in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Which was in one of the river sections.
Yep.
Which was is it the Ancient Spirit?
Oh, shit, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not because it was a hard boss.
It's not hard,
because
is it?
Not because there's any lore or anything.
It's lovely.
It's a beautiful creature, like the design of it, the way it moves and all that.
Yeah.
And it's got the most gorgeous soundtrack to it. And it's not like a hyper-aggressive boss. It's not like constantly pressuring you. It has 3 attacks, I think. And I did it first time, and I was sad that I did it because I kind of wanted to do it again because it was just really, really lovely. So, it's constantly surprising me.
Great game.
And I'm absolutely adoring it. But the main thing I want to talk about is a book I've started this last week and a half.
You've been reading?
I read. Ugh. Unlike you, who listens to things while playing video games.
I like old men in the 70s reading me books.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what I like.
So this is the book I'm reading is called "To Sleep in a Sea of Stars." It's by Christopher Paolini. Now, this is the guy who wrote Eragon.
Yes.
If you remember that back in the day.
Yep. Dragon Ball.
Who has made a career of doing YA novels.
Yes.
And this is his first adult novel.
The way you said that then just sounded like anal.
young adult.
Why anal? Yeah,
young anal.
Yeah.
YA novels.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard
it's a genre.
It came across as why anal. I don't know.
And then you moved on to adult novels as well, so it didn't really help.
Fuck's sake, why do I bother with you lot? Anyway.
Gotcha, I heard what you said, pal.
This is first one aimed at grown-ups as opposed to kind of teenagers.
Not us then.
I'm just going to read you the blurb from Goodreads. So Kira Navarez dreamed of a life on new worlds. Now she's awakened a nightmare. During a routine survey mission on an uncolonized planet, Kira finds an alien relic. At first she's delighted, but elation turns to terror when the ancient dust around her begins to move. As war erupts among the stars, Kira is launched into a galaxy-spanning odyssey of discovery and transformation. First contact isn't all that she imagined, and events push her to the very limits of what it means to be human. While Kira faces her own horrors, Earth and its colonies stand on the brink of annihilation, and now Kira might be humanity's greatest and final hope.
So it's Mass Effect.
Sort of. But it's really well written, and it's a massive, expansive novel. 880 pages this novel is.
Fucking hell.
It's massive. You could beat a donkey to death with this book.
I could have used that this week.
I mean, it's basically an afternoon of you playing Elden Ring. That's how long this
I
book
was
is.
say that's
But
quite chunky. That
given Christopher Paolini's history, and the last book of his I read was Eragon when I was kind of in my early 20s.
I remember liking Eragon. I didn't read the ones after.
Eragon's fine. You know,
I didn't like the film.
That was shit.
No, the film was not fine.
I remember the book being good.
Yeah, the book's great. I didn't read any of the sequels, but I read the first one. I really enjoyed it. But this is different. Like, he's really stepped up in his style of writing, his descriptions. This is like a luxury novel. Like, the world is so well described. There is moments of kind of when aliens are trying to communicate with humans, and it comes out in this flowery language, which not unlike some of the creatures from Mass Effect. You know, like the way that them from Star Trek speak in metaphors. You know, that kind of
like
thing.
The Hanar.
Like the Hanar. Yeah. It's brilliant. There is so much lore to it as well. There is.
Oh, I like that.
You know how you get a lot of fantasy novels which will have a map of the world in it.
Yeah.
This has like 3D galaxy maps in it, like showing like
that.
On the X, Y, and Z axis the relationship between planets.
Yeah, I'm into that.
It's really, really good, man. You need to get a copy of this. I'm 300 or so pages into it right now, so I'm barely scratching the surface.
You reckon physical's better then? Yeah, because of the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get that.
I'll send it down to you when I'm finished with it. But it's really fucking good. So I'll talk more about it once I've actually finished it. But I'll probably finish it in the next couple of weeks because I'm rocketing through it. I absolutely love this book. Kira as a character, she's really well realized. There's a thing I've noticed with a lot of male sci-fi authors that they can very rarely write women properly.
Yeah.
Or they try and kind of boil. They try and boil women down to a set of base emotions and sexual parts.
That's what they are, aren't they?
And
no,
I don't think
they have feelings,
are
Biggie.
involved. I mean,
yeah, they're involved. They're not all the character is though.
Biggie, did you know that women are allowed to vote now?
Get out of here!
Seriously, dude.
That's what I say to her when she leaves the kitchen.
fucking hell.
Fuck's sake.
If she were behind you now, you get fucking punched at back of head.
Anyway, Kira is really well realized. She's a very complex character. She goes through, as is usual with these kind of chosen one science fiction stories, she goes through a hell of a trauma that leads into the kind of the plot of the novel.
Yes.
And like the references back to it, it's never like, oh my God, I lost this. Oh, I'm so sad because I'm a woman kind of thing. Like that, like her loss feels real the way it's written. You know, like it's not a man writing a woman. It's not the character is not a man in woman form. You know, she's a really well realized character, and I really appreciate that about the novel.
I listened to a book this week. I'm not going to name the book because I don't even want to give it praise and anything. It was shocking. It was read to me, but it was a male author, and he had a woman in it, and he described it. She had the most gushing, pain-inducing period. I'm like, dude, stop it. Stop that. I was like, fuck, you don't know what it's like to be a woman, so don't.
Listen, let me tell you, it doesn't matter how painful it is, it never gushes.
Genuinely, I'll find the quote from the book and I will fucking show you it. It's disgusting.
There is a point. 99% of men can write women to a point. They don't need to talk about that.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Why?
It was just a bad book anyway. Terrible book.
I mean, to be fair, I've read a load of books where like the lead character has been a woman and it's a male author and it's been dreadful. Like
and all she does is wank.
You saw that about Artemis, didn't you?
Yeah, Artemis. That's pretty much it. And she does have a couple of wanks in that book, I think.
Artemis is terrible. I hated it.
Oh, it's really bad considering he did so well with The Martian.
Yeah.
Oh, but even then, like the way of like Ready Player One, like how the women were represented in that, they were just kind of. They were literally virtual archetypes for whatever the author's fantasy was, and this Kira Navarez is not like that. She's a fully formed human being.
Fantastic. That's what you want to see.
And I know I've gone on about this for about 3 minutes now, but it is worth saying that it's a very good point of the book.
So it's
because I've read
Sleeping a Sea of Stars. Yeah, is that the saga or is it just one book?
It's the first book of a saga. It came out at the beginning of lockdown last year.
Fantastic.
Not last year, the year before. It's the Fractal Verse #1. So I'm assuming he's got plenty of books going on. I do like a verse.
I do like getting into a saga when it's happening as well, not after. You feel like you're part of the conversation about
I don't know.
it.
Yeah.
Have you tried to get it? I'm in the middle of 3 sagas, and I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
know
a
you
book.
are.
I haven't seen a book from 2 of them in over 10 years.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Well, this was one. Like I reckon when I picked it up in Waterstones, I obviously recognised the name of Christopher Paolini, but it was literally. I just really like the cover art, and it literally bought the book because of its cover, and it's
sometimes
paid
you
off.
can judge
It was
them.
really well. Yeah, it's paid off because it's really really fucking good.
Excellent. Is that everything from you, good sir?
Yes.
Right, me. 2 things. First thing is I've been playing a little bit of a game called Elden Ring. I don't know if you've heard of it. 62 hours of Elden Ring. Completed it today.
It's like a second job. Like
I
you had a
completed it
job.
today.
You came home.
It's been out 11
and your second
days.
job was playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, it worked.
Have you seen your family this week?
Yeah, some of them were watching
when he
me
walks
playing
through
it.
the room, when he walks through the door and goes upstairs.
Yeah.
When his wife comes to bed and he's sat on the edge of the bed just playing.
No, I don't sit on the bed. No, I lay on the bed. But yeah, I powered through it. I got
You
what
just fucking did.
I obviously once I beat the game, I did a bit of research and I got what appears to be the actually not the bad ending, the neutral ending.
Right.
Slightly disappointed by that neutral ending, but I made bad decisions on my journey because there are decisions to be made. Just to let you know, anyone that's playing this game, don't skip character dialogue because you will fuck yourself over. Trust me, I'm that guy.
So Luke Dulce shouldn't play this.
Yeah, just anyone that's constantly tapping X.
Dark Souls games anyway.
Yeah, it's an exceptional game, isn't it? I've started my second run through already. I think I'm further than you already, Gadget.
Why?
I don't know.
What is wrong with I'm savouring this game. I'm playing it every night.
No, but I'm getting to certain points when I know I don't get any more game mechanics, and then I'm going to explore. Because I know when the game mechanics stop happening. Do you know the new mechanics?
Yeah.
I know when that stops. Not far from where you are, actually. And then I'm just going to explore. I mean, to be fair, I did like 3/4 of all the bosses that are in the game, so I didn't do too bad on my first run. Some of them are ridiculous, and some of the optional super bosses, I just can't do them. I just can't do it. I think I finished the game on level 129, and I was still under-leveled. So, beware. I remember Miyazaki saying he thinks this is going to be the game that most people complete. I don't think it is. Because it's fucking rock hard by the end. The last dungeon is horrendous. And it's designed beautifully. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous, and thematically it's gorgeous, but it's too hard. It's just too hard. It's too hard. And I summoned for the last 5 hours of the game. I'm not ashamed to say it. I knew I was there and I got through it.
I've found when I've been playing that summoning is counterproductive.
Well, it makes the bosses harder, doesn't it?
But yeah, that's what I mean. But because I worked out why, because I was really struggling with Godric with summoning people.
Yeah.
And then I beat him the first time I tried him solo.
Yeah.
And what I worked out is because I went to do some farming and I put my summon sign down.
Yes.
But you don't.
No.
When you put the option down to be summoned, you go into the summoning pool and you can get pulled up to any boss you've beaten.
Yes.
So I got pulled up to Godric a couple of times and got my arse handed to us because I wasn't prepared to fight Godric.
Yes, you think you're going to be the boss that's closest to your summon sign, but no.
Yeah, like in the previous games, when you put your sign down to be summoned into someone else's game, you had to go to the bonfire or the boss fog that you wanted to be in, and you would help someone with that specific boss. You're in the mindset for it.
Yeah, so so
I get smashed.
Just to set your mind across what the internet is now deeming as the hardest boss from Soft I've ever created. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I'm going to spoil a little mechanic in it. This boss, every time it attacks and its attack hits, its health goes back up to the top.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and every
Mandatory boss?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's an optional. I didn't finish it. I didn't beat that boss. But every time you summon someone, because they didn't know where they were getting summoned to, whenever it's summoned and they knew where they were, they did the emojis like, oh, now they're on the floor crying. Like, I don't want to do this boss. I think it's 0.3% trophy, that one, at the moment.
Well, also, the game's been out 11 days, and it's massive.
Yeah.
You're probably one of the first 100,000 people to beat it. The game's already sold 11 million copies.
Yeah, it does. That doesn't mean anything, though, does it?
Yes, it fucking does, because not everyone's like you and goes and works a full-time job and then has another full-time job playing Elden fucking Ring.
Well, you read a book. I mean, while I were doing this...
I talk to the people I live with.
I do. But I do, but I don't look at them when I'm talking. Like, during those hours of beating that game, I finished Always Sunny in Philadelphia, all of it, from season 7 to the end. Their podcast, I listened to all that, I'm up to date with that, and 3 audiobooks. So I'm productive. You can't deny the productivity.
Sorry, whoa. How can you play a game
Here
like Dark Souls and be watching something else or listening to something? I don't get that. You have to be focused on that fucking game. I don't understand.
I've got a laptop in front of me now, and I've got a monitor there, so that's how you do it.
It's also because he's got ADHD and he's got hyperfocus.
Super focus. You don't understand, mate.
I don't.
If you were sat watching me and like you come round to hang and I'm playing a game, there's no point. There's no point because I'm not talking to you.
I have a distinct feeling that if we walk around there while Oodles is playing Elden Ring, we could probably draw on his face without him noticing.
I've had people cut my hair, like as a joke, while I'm playing games. So yeah. That
there's videos people put online of their cat or their dog's asleep and they start like stacking things up.
You could stack something on my head. Yeah. Apart from that, like I said, that one optional boss that I've just fucked up. I feel like a particular build could beat that boss perfectly. That wasn't my build, so I am now aiming towards that. I will get that trophy eventually, maybe next week. Who knows?
So is it the best Dark Souls game ever now?
Yeah,
what people have
undoubtedly
from playing?
Undoubtedly. Because it's got...
of them, including...
Yeah, because it's got things for
Dark Souls
everyone
1,
that's a
2,
fan
3,
of it.
whatever.
It's even got, like at least 6 of the bosses that I fought are Kingsfield bosses, which just made me squeal with delight. It's got things for everyone, really. It's got the legacy dungeons for people like me that prefer the old school Dark Souls. Like, I remember Gadget talking about the castle, absolutely screaming at it, because it's just a full Dark Souls game in one area, isn't it?
Stormvale Castle,
Yeah.
it is. It's like it's actually, I was listening to a podcast about I was listening to the back page and they were talking about it, and they made a good point that like it's really jarring when you get to Stormvale Castle because you've so far up to that point you've had this massive flat open world that you can go anywhere and anything, and then you walk into the biggest Dark Souls level they've ever made. and it's like tight corridors and like traps and like enemies jumping out from behind corners and stuff like
very,
that.
very, very, very minor spoiler. There's 9 of those dungeons.
Oh, lovely. I found 3 other castles other than Castle Morn.
The castles don't necessarily mean dungeons, trust me.
Well, still, I want to go fuck up some castles.
Oh, the thing that what the game does really smartly, Breath of the Wild did this as well. You see something in the distance, you think that looks interesting. What Elden Ring does, it doesn't waste your time at all. There will be something interesting there. If it's a bit of lore, if it's something that buffs your character, if it's a weapon, if it's an item of clothing, if it's you're not wasting your time at all. I don't know how they did this.
It's a design concept called I think it's like the triangle rule or something. Like basically, wherever you happen to look
There's always
in the
something.
open world, you can always see 3 things you can go and do.
Yeah.
It's been designed that it seems like it's like this big wide empty world, but it's not. It's really densely packed.
Yeah,
if you think about it,
it's really dense. I mean, now I've got all the map. I know. I've seen the way. I can see. I'm not like Neo, but I can see how they've done it now. You know what I mean? It makes sense where all the legacy dungeons are placed. Everything just makes complete sense, and it still would take you from the southern tip of the map to the northern tip of the map. It will take you about 3 hours, real-time hours, to gallop there. It's huge. It's vast. But it's just sensational. It can be as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. Like, if you are stuck on an enemy, grind. I know you might not like it, but it'll work. You'll come back stronger regardless.
But then it also feels really badass when you go and one-shot a boss.
What's that
one on the way to Morn? The Knights something or other? Night Cavalry?
Night Cavalry, yeah.
I wandered across him. He looked terrifying as fuck. I got him down first time and it was a great fight.
You sent me a lovely clip the other day where he just absolutely one-shotted somebody straight in the guts. That was absolute perfection.
That was him. That was Night Cavalry.
Lovely.
The only advice for anyone that's just starting to venture into this, don't neglect magic, even if it's faith or intelligence type magic or fire type magic. Don't neglect it, because it's more important in this game to be a bit more versatile than it has ever been in any of the games. It really is. Like, bleed's really good, rot's really good, just general magic, general pyromancy. The game is screaming at you to experiment. You can't sword and board this. You can't just have a shield and a sword and beat this game. I had to respec a few times, and you just can't do it. I mean, somebody probably will. But I can see in a few months someone will do that 10-hour speed run with a loincloth on and a club. You know what I mean? They're going to do it, aren't they? It's going to happen.
I think one of the YouTubers is already starting like a level 1 run to see if he can do it.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of early game get OP things that you can do that'll take. It can take you 15 minutes to become to be as powerful to get to the end of the game. Do you know what I mean? If you really wanted to spoil it, but don't spoil it. That's another bit of advice. Well, don't spoil it. Like Gadget's like, oh, I'm going to savor it. In my way, I did savor it because it took a longer than I expected.
No, you gorged on it.
I did. But yeah,
you put the head in the trough and didn't stop eating.
I fucking did, mate. Like I say, I think there's like 85 bosses and I've done 60 odd, so I'm not doing too bad, am I? On my first run. That's all right. But yeah, the main thing I want to talk about really quickly is something not a game, but it's to do with games. I watched a film. Believe it or not, I had time to watch a film without playing a game this week.
Christ.
It's a film called Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, God.
Now, you all know I adore the Resident Evil mythos and universe. I didn't win on our mastermind, but I didn't lose either, did I? So that's the main thing. Basically, I liked it.
It's fucking shite.
No.
It is. Tries to cram way too much into 90 minutes.
Don't get me wrong, I don't love it. Now, it worried me because I was watching it on my iPad in bed, and I got to the 1 hour mark, and I saw there was like 40 minutes left. I was like, oh shit, they haven't done anything yet. There is literally an hour of character building in this film, and it's not a very long film. But it's starring Kaya Scodelario, Robbie Amell, and Tom Hopper. Now, these are people that other people probably know. I know Tom Hopper's in that a superhero show, isn't he, where he's the big guy. Is it Umbrella Academy? I think it's that one. I'm not sure. Yeah, and Robbie Amell is Green Arrow's brother, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't know these people. But yeah, it's
some real A-list shit going on here.
Pure A-list. No, mate, it's fucking garbage. It's not, like I say, it's not good, but I liked what it did. Do you know what it felt like, Stig? You've seen it, haven't you? It felt like this is a show, and they've just like trimmed 10 episodes of this show into one long episode. Because
that's not really a good thing.
It's not. It's hard to explain because it's not a good film, but the atmosphere is good. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the characters are completely
liked Silent Hill, even though it was shit.
It wasn't shit. It was ace.
No,
I liked
the
atmosphere in that.
Yeah, but Silent Hill also didn't try to retell the games, which is what
Silent Hill is better than this. Silent Hill is better than this.
Second Silent Hill film, not good at all.
Didn't know there was a second one.
Oh, it's bad.
I never seen it, but yeah, I didn't hate it, and that's what I've come. that's what I've come across. I was pleasantly surprised, but it's a proper 5 out of 10 film. It's not good, but it like. I mean, I'll spoil it. Like Wesker's not really a baddie.
No, they've completely changed everyone's backstories and
changed everything.
So Jill's
that doesn't bother me because it's no, it doesn't bother me that much because it's still got the feel of it. And
you just said that you love the mythos of Resident Evil.
Yes, I know, but it's like a
you
guide.
Didn't lose Mastermind answering questions on it.
It's like a guide end to it. It's like you know the character names, but these are not the characters you know. Like the zombies talk in this. It's just weird.
So it's not Resident Evil.
They do talk a bit. They do. Stig, you should watch it again. They talk in it quite a few times actually. Not like all of the zombies talk, but there's talking zombies in it.
Did you not just get really drunk and watch The Walking Dead by accident?
No. Like it's got
Zombie didn't come out with a voiceover going, "You're probably wondering how I got here."
No. Like there's areas that you recognise from, especially. It seems like they've took all this from the remakes rather than the original source material. And like, there's the train car, there's the underground lab, kind of. There's the mansion, kind of. There's the RPD police station, kind of. Everything's just kind of there, and the atmosphere's fine, and that's all I can take from it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's
You're actually not selling this. You realise that, right? Because all you've said in positive about it is that the atmosphere's fine.
I think it's
characters are shite.
I mean, it's not
zombies talk.
Yeah, it's not a good selling point, but I think it's the best Resident Evil film.
Oh dear.
That's not hard, considering the other 6 were made by Paul W.S. fucking Anderson.
I think it's what would I have it? I don't know. I think there's 2 better Resident Evil films.
I don't like the Resident Evil films at all, but this it just, at least, I don't know, it had a direction. Yeah, Stig's right. They did cram too much into one film, and the first hour is literally just backstory and character development, and why they spent 15 minutes in a diner is beyond me. But they do it, and I didn't mind it. Proper 5 out of 10 material. If you can watch it for free, watch it.
I feel like this last 5 minutes of positive review that you said you were coming in for has been more negative than anything.
It's not negative. It's ambivalent.
You have missold your Resident Evil review.
Which, Biggie, is a great segue to the main topic that we're going to discuss today. Whose episode is it today? Actually,
I was going to have some thoughts on Resident Evil, but we can move on. It's fine.
You can't. No, you can. Go for it. Go for it.
I think that it's a film that plays lip service to the fans, but also fails to do enough. It's trying to cram Resident Evil 1 and 2 simultaneously into a film, which wipes out Resident Evil 3's storyline completely. And they spend way too much time on Claire's backstory, which is made up. Time on Lisa Trevor, who's a character that no one cares about. And so they did all that and took you into the police station, but then never did any of the cool moments from the police station. Like, they just didn't even have Mr. X or anything like that. I thought everything felt really cheap, especially the CGI. You get one liquor and a 1 minute scene of a tyrant. And
it's William Birkin,
which looks terrible. And I also think that they did Annette Birkin real dirty. She goes from being this.
She wasn't Annette Birkin.
No, she goes from being the Annette Birkin who is a brilliant scientist working with him,
to
just being a housewife. It's quite frankly bullshit.
Oh yeah, she's one of the main characters in 2.
Yeah,
and she's just.
and yes, I know who Annette Birkin is.
Yeah, she's just wife. She's just wife.
Yeah, she's like a malevolent bad guy almost in.
And Sherry Birkin is just daughter.
Game. Yeah, but she is she's important to that story.
Yes,
and Birkin's story and what's going on in the lab and everything. But in this, she's just wife. Wife is the best way to describe it, because that's all she is.
Yeah,
wife.
She's just wife. I think I'm kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit, because it doesn't have to be a complete remake of the games, but there's enough in it to see that to make you think that they're trying to be a remake of the game. I get what you're saying, because if you weren't going to do that, you've got the original films, haven't you, that aren't remakes of the games.
My issue is that I kind of like the idea of them saying, we're going to tell the story of the games, because everyone does a video game film, it's always like, right, we're going to make a new story with that character, which is perfectly fine, and they've failed pretty every time. This guy said, I'm going to retell that story, but on the screen.
This guy that's not directed anything else.
And it was just stupid. Like, he's trying to cram in 3 games worth of material into 1 hour and 40 minute film. And by doing so, he actually doesn't even cram 3, and he only manages to get 2 games in, and 1 game gets
1.5 mainly, isn't it?
Yeah. Nemesis is just the way the film ends. Nemesis can't happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah.
So, well, I know it's not the greatest of the films, but the Resident Evil Apocalypse, which was the second Paul W.S. Anderson one,
is the better one.
I Well, it is the best of those films anyway. But I liked how they did that one where it was still Alice's story, but you had scenes from games 2 and 3, like the stuff that happens in Raccoon City.
Yeah, you got Carlos and stuff.
You had scenes kind of like framed around it. So you had Jill Valentine, you had like dogs attacking, you had the creation of the Nemesis and stuff like that. Like, you had hints at Ada Wong and stuff like that. And like, I really liked how that worked because that works better than taking a 10-hour video game and trying to cram it into 2 hours.
Yeah,
you know? Give me the locations, give me the iconography, give me events that happen in a game or scenes that can be transplanted from a game to the screen. I think that works better for me than just retelling it.
The thing is, I am being kinder than I should be, because if the director came out and said, I was trying to get more of a feel for the games rather than game, but no, I believe he said it's a shot-for-shot remake of the games. I think he said something along those lines. Like, you haven't played them, have you, pal?
He's looked at them. He's looked at the boxes.
Yeah. I mean, like the RPD looks good. You don't see enough of it. The mansion looks good. The whole
Leon's hair wrong.
Yeah, he looks like Carlos instead.
And they made Leon like a bloody buffoon.
Dingbat. He's a dingbat in it. He's an absolute dingbat. Bear in mind, this is the man that looked after the president in his life.
Yeah, they just make him like an absolute idiot. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's an absolute dingbat.
Leon.
the Med Wesker into an absolute. The Med Wesker looked like Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5.
Oh, chunky and muscly.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But yeah, I'm probably. It's probably because it's the only film I've watched this week. I'm being kind to it.
Done. Surprisingly enough, it's quite high on my video game computer game list on my letterbox, just because of the sheer shit that comes before.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think it's good. I just think it's middling. But I think the other films, the other Resident Evil films, are dire. So it's not a really good barometer to base it on.
I was just going to say there's some free...
just leave video games alone,
there's some free PS5 upgrades coming for 7, 2 and 3.
Mate, buzzing for that. Buzzing for that. Especially 3, because it chugged on the PS4, that. Chugged. But yeah, let's move on to the main topic. I don't know whose episode it is, because I weren't here last week, and I only listened to a little bit of it. I'm joking, I listened to it all, but I can't remember. So
it's my week.
Oh, it's your week. I wondered why it was such a difficult topic to find something for. Take it away.
Well, yes, because this week we are talking about the things that have been missold to you.
And
I'm not talking about PPI either.
No.
Shit.
Or car insurance. No. Talking about things that have
phone
been
insurance.
Or Patreon.
Or phone insurance. Or anything Oodle sells.
Hey, this Patreon is not false advertising.
Apart from the VAT.
So yeah, we're talking about things where either like expectations were set by the developers or the creators or whatever, and it didn't come out right, or things that just were flat out lies. We have declared that we shall not be talking about Cyberpunk because it's too easy. It's shooting fish in a barrel with that one. We had to think of something. And we also still can't talk about Game of Thrones Season 8 because, that was advertised as being good.
I can't even talk about that anymore because it's still very upsetting.
So I'm going to lead off here with I've got a double whammy here because I don't have much to say on each of them because they were just such massive miss sales. So first one I want to talk about is from 2013. It's produced by the greasiest man in the world, Mr. Randy Pitchford.
Ugh.
We're going to talk about Aliens: Colonial Marines.
He's a bastard, Randy Pitchford.
Yes, well, this was a game that Sega had in development hell for a little while, and Gearbox quite happily came in, like they did with Duke Nukem Forever, to take it on and just squirt it out.
Sega.
Basic plot of the game is a first-person shooter based on Aliens rather than Alien. So you're a colonial marine. It's a more actiony game. It's supposed to involve you taking a pulse rifle around space stations and spaceships, killing a lot of xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Problem was, it was dead on arrival. It was broken. It was the most fucked thing in the world. And there are reasons for that. But the reason why this was missold is it cast your mind back to E3 2012.
Oh, God.
And,
I wasn't even a dad then.
No, you weren't.
Oh.
Randy himself slithered onto the stage and
spewing venom across the whole auditorium,
leaving a snail trail behind him.
I've done that before.
To show off Aliens: Colonial Marines, and what we saw was a squad-based shooter that was, it had some really, really cool looking set pieces.
It looked fucking mint.
It looked incredible. It was aimed for the Xbox 360 and PS3, so like the graphics were, it was at the time when developers were really hitting their stride because it was close to the end of the generation, so things were looking great. And the hype was real. The hype was really good for it.
We're going to get a good Aliens game. That's what we all kept saying.
Well, yeah, because there hadn't been a good Aliens game since Alien Trilogy. And
Which
even
is
then,
not even good.
No, that was just Doom with an alien skin on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of kind of pre-release buzz from that. There was a lot of marketing going on. And the game eventually came out. Oh, it did not look anything like it looked on the trailers. It did not look like anything in the pre-release
Mate,
stuff.
I bought it day one.
Oh, you poor boy. The graphics were massively downgraded. There were levels that were shown off in the pre-release stuff that had been removed from the game.
Gone.
Completely. The alien AI was bugged to fuck, and frequently they would just stand and walk in a circle.
There's that famous scene with you go through like a painstaking ritual to get the smart guns ready, and the aliens just stand in a line and you shoot them.
Yeah. There were so many kind of GIFs and videos come out where like a tense room, you'd walk into the alien nest, and there would just be the xenomorph kind of like leaning back and as he walks past
a lot of
you.
them were T-posing as well.
Yeah, completely ignoring you.
You see a xenomorph T-posing with its balls out. Shit scared. This is frightening.
Sound effects didn't work, dialogue didn't work, companion AI didn't work, the multiplayer didn't work. It was fucking raw.
And the other thing as well, where this is so fucking Gearbox, man. Where they got the difficulties wrong on the menu, and easy was the hardest, and the hardest was the easiest.
Yep.
How fucking stupid can you be?
They issued a couple of patches and never ended up fixing it, and just declared it dead. About 5 years later, some enterprising modder was looking through the PC version of it and found that the reason why the alien AI was bugged out was because of a typo in the code.
Yeah, one digit, wasn't it?
It was one letter, which meant the class operator in the code was misspelled and wouldn't reference to anything.
Yep.
So the code block for the alien pathfinding AI to like look for the player was never being triggered. So that's why the aliens wouldn't fight you, or they would just kind of mingle about. And like the guy was like, he literally just fixed the spelling mistake, booted up the game, and it ran as it was intended.
Did you see how it got re-reviewed after that, and they gave it like a 7 out of 10?
Yeah, it got absolutely panned when it was released. Yeah, and it's just like, it's still not great, but it's pretty good. Like, it's enjoyable, and you can play it.
It's still 3 hours long.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just Randy Pitchford. He does this. He did it with Duke Nukem Forever as well. Bigged this up as he was saving that game, and that game was terrible.
Shake it, baby.
The other one I want to talk about, this one hurt. This one hurt my heart. Because, we've talked about it before, and before everyone realised what a collection of sexually aggressive ball sacks they were, Blizzard were good at making video games.
Oh, remember Blizzard being good?
And in the early 2000s, they released Warcraft 3.
They did.
Reign of Chaos. And it were good. It were really fucking good. One of the greatest real-time strategy games ever made. Me and my brother used to play that for hours when we were kids. Like,
you went through some fucking mice on that, didn't you? Clicky, clicky, clicky.
Oh, absolutely. And that it wasn't optical mice either. It was ones we had to clean the rubber ball out on them.
My ball's all dirty. I'm going to have to clean it. Quick.
Exactly. So it was announced in 2018. Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Oh, I remember this.
And Blizzard promised remodeled characters, new graphics, redoing the cutscenes, redoing the dialogue.
New voice actors, wasn't it?
No, same. They got the old voice actors.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, for any new lines, but they were doing their best to kind of keep the old stuff as much as they could, but like give everything a lick of paint, cinematic cutscenes as opposed to just the camera being zoomed in following characters. New UI, better online connectivity, more modding tools, all this kind of thing. Like everything we were asking for, everything that StarCraft 2 has had since 2012, like all the good shit. And everyone was excited for it. And they said it was going to be out that next year in 2019. Everyone was like, oh, yes. It didn't come out until 2020. And they were like, oh, no. And the review
what could go wrong in 2020? Nothing.
And the review copies didn't go out until the day of release. Oh, no. Oh, no. It were bad. It were very, very bad. What they had done was nothing. What they had done, actually, no, they had done things. They ruined the game.
Yeah.
So the upgraded cutscenes didn't exist. The upgraded character models were upgraded via AI, so they weren't kind of like redrawn or rebuilt. They were done by AI, so they all looked a bit off and a bit weird. It was only kind of like the major heroes that had been redrawn, so characters like Arthas and people like that. They'd been redrawn, but yeah, most of it didn't work. The UI was incomprehensible. The online stuff didn't work for the first couple of days properly. The modding stuff didn't work properly. But there were two worst things that they did to this, besides charging £40 for it. They removed the old version of Warcraft 3 from Battle.net.
Oh.
And if you had it installed on your computer and you had Battle.net installed, it automatically updated you to Reforged.
No.
So you lost the old thing regardless. And then they also put in some very difficult new language into their terms and conditions, because you've obviously all heard of Dota.
Yeah.
Defense of the Ancients. That was a Warcraft 3 mod. That is a Warcraft 3 mod that has made all of the money.
Yeah. It invented a genre, didn't it?
Yeah, that Blizzard don't get, because it was a mod. So what they added into the terms and conditions was, if you create new mods or create new game modes,
we're getting the money.
They own it. Yeah. No, they're not getting the money. They own it. So anything you create in it is not your own work.
That's terrible.
Which is terrible. And it was all this thing. And this was also just after the BlizzCon, where we'd had the whole, hey, you guys have phones, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One of the worst announcements ever that was.
Oh, God.
And it was also the same BlizzCon where Blizzard CEO at the time, J. Allen Brack, was on a panel, and some a woman asked a question about, why do all the female characters in Blizzard games have to be so voluptuous?
Oh.
And he just says, we like big tits.
Oh, God.
My kind of guy.
It was terrible. And
Edgelord McGee.
Yeah. Shock horror, a year or so later in 2021, all the shit came out about Blizzard, and it turns out they are a shower of sweaty ball bags that abuse the shit out of their staff and abuse the shit out of women, to the point where one of them tragically took her life. So you know what? Fuck Blizzard.
Yeah. We don't play them anymore.
Fuck Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Yeah, we don't play them anymore. None of their games. So,
go on, Oodles. What were you missold? Besides that hat.
This hat
was not
is covering my hair.
It's a perfect hat.
Get
my shop and buy that hat.
Yeah, get to the shop. It's a very comfy hat, and it's good when you've just got out of the shower to cover your fluffy hair. Woo!
Your hair grows really quick, doesn't it? Sorry, just as an aside.
He really has got the Sam Porter Bridges thing going on right now, hasn't he?
I'm just a hirsute Jew. That's what I am. I grow hair.
Anyway,
I grow hair fast. Right. Yes, missold. Back in 2011, zombie fever was at its zenith, maybe. I don't know.
I knew I should just put in my... I know exactly where he's going with this. I'm going to... I'm just going to leave the podcast now.
So
this is exactly what I was going to do.
A game about slapping zombies with a variety of absurd homemade weapons. Sounds perfect, doesn't it?
Oh, he's not going where I thought he was going.
Sounds
back in your box.
Pod is saved.
Stig. Yeah, Stig's back.
But where
I don't know if you're talking about this, Stig, but I'm talking about Dead Island.
No, but mine is 2011 and it's zombies.
It's a bad year for zombies.
It was a bad year for zombies. So, Dead Island, Gadget, you'll remember this.
I remember the trailer. The trailer was incredible.
The trailer was one of the most heartfelt, beautiful, gut-wrenching trailers you can ever see. It was about a girl at the end of her life when zombies kick in and get involved, and I thought, oh my god, we're getting some kind of Walking Dead style action RPG. We didn't, did we?
No.
We basically got zombies at Butlins.
Pod title.
Yeah. So, Techland, I mean, they've redeemed themselves because
like Dying Light 2 and Dying Light 2 are supposed to be great.
They're good. They got there in the end, and it's a bit more somber, and they can still be daft and have cricket bats and stuff, because everyone knows cricket bats is the ultimate weapon to kill zombies.
Or vinyl.
Dead Island was missold to me because I'd come off the back of, like, I missed a lot of the generation, a lot of the 360 PS3 era, but what I didn't miss was Left 4 Dead. I didn't miss that. And it was one of the precious memories I've got with multiplayer, because I don't play a lot of multiplayer. I think those games were impeccable, and for my money, the best games Valve have done. I know a lot of people don't like that. Ooh, I can't believe he's saying that. But I love, like, I don't know if you guys played much of it, but fucking hell.
I really enjoyed Left 4 Dead.
The best.
It's probably the best multiplayer experience I've ever had in my life. And I thought that we're going to get that kind of thing again, but with an adventure, like an open world zombie with realistic physics and a somber, scary, like, is man the real enemy kind of vibe to it. No, as I said, it's just zombies in Butlins, and it's fucking shit. I'm sorry, I know people like Dead Island, but I think it's fucking
I never
crap.
played it.
To be fair, it was buggy as all fuck.
It didn't work
very well.
No, I fell off it hard.
It had nothing of the quality that was in the trailer, because the trailer was the one that was going backwards, wasn't it? It was like the family being bit in the hotel room.
Yes, it all went backwards, and it was so.
And it was a really well done trailer. I was so hyped for it off that trailer.
And it did the mortal sin of casting a black character, a white man doing a black man's voice.
Oh dear.
That's always a bad thing. So yeah, I thought, because that character, I was like, he's actually, he were a hip hop star. This, because you could pick like one of 4 characters or something like that. He's a hip hop star. He's just on holiday. I'll be him. And then he started talking. I'm like, and this was 2011. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Oh no, I can't believe he's saying these words. Do you know what I mean? It's just really bad. And then at the beginning, you pick up a radio, and it tells you to get out of the hotel. And it's quite tense, isn't it? There's a bit of stealth, and you've got not much weapons. And then you get out, and it's just fucking crap. It's fetch quest after fetch quest. And it's not like... Dead Rising did that, didn't it? But that was more of an arcadey game, wasn't it, Dead Rising?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be stupid. This didn't know what its mood was, did it? I don't know how much you played of it.
It wasn't sure whether it was a horror or an action or a color or...
Couldn't you drive a vehicle in it as well? Yeah, but it was terrible.
No, that was Riptide, I think. They put vehicles into the second one.
I'm pretty sure.
There is vehicles in the first one. There is vehicles, and it's shocking. It's really bad.
Yeah, the controls terrible.
They did stupid things, like your home base was on a boat, but you had to you couldn't get to it quite easily. Do you know when it's supposed to be easy to get back to your home base and just relax?
Yeah.
It was a struggle to get to your home, and not because of the zombies, but because it's just a shit home base. And it's just so bad. Like, it was a melee focused game as well. You didn't get guns until really late on, and these zombies were indestructible. They were so overpowered. Like, here you go, you've got a javelin. You'd think a javelin in a zombie's brain would kill it, wouldn't you? No, it doesn't kill it. And it's just really, really shy. And it's a shame, but at least Techland have bounced back, haven't they? Because they're a good dev team, because they support their games for years to come, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, Techland are guilty of several crimes.
Which ones?
Most precisely the collector's edition of Dead Island Riptide.
Oh God!
Anyone remembers that?
Yeah, the goodie.
I'm putting on screen for the YouTube people.
Yeah.
Oh no!
For the listeners, it's basically Jerry Halliwell's torso.
Yeah, effectively, it's a woman's torso with the arms and the head splitting off, and
big old
titties. Wearing a Union Jack bikini with like inflatable tits.
Have you noticed how her boobs are perfectly clean?
Yeah, they're not even covered in blood.
No blood on the bite
boobs.
marks or anything. If I was a zombie, I'd go straight for the boobs.
They literally look like a pair of buns, though.
Stig, you've clearly never seen a boob in your life. You know they are immune to blood. So
I can confirm. But those literally just look like a pair of buns just stuck on as an afterthought. Do you know what that looks like to me? Well, it's like when they actually like cut into it and it's actually a cake.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes. Yes, it does.
But yeah, like Techland have redeemed themselves with like Dying Light.
Yeah, because it's a good game, and the multiplayer works in that.
Yeah, the 3 Dead Island games were not good in the
Just
slightest.
three.
There was 3.
I played the first one in Riptide, and Riptide is basically a tower defense game, isn't it? But with zombies.
Yes.
It's shite.
It was a shit out in 2 years, and it was just basically
in the
it should
same
have been
map.
like an expansion. It should have been an expansion pack to the first Dead Island.
Yeah, it should have been, but it was a full priced game. But yeah, I was really upset with that because I needed it, and not until I think like Dying Light. What's the one with the motorbike one that I really like? I forgot.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. They've got zombies right, in my opinion. They've really. I've not played Dying Light 2, but I'm looking forward to playing it. Like, I didn't adore Dying Light until the DLC. I think
the following DLC was fantastic.
The DLC
they managed
really
to get their
good.
driving right.
Yeah, they did. But yeah, the next thing, I can't talk about it too much. I kind of missold, but I don't hate it. Does this count?
Yeah.
Go on then. Try it.
Robert Rodriguez, remember him? Desperado.
Yeah.
I remember a friend saying I was too young. We've got to see this new crime film about 2 convicts escaping a heist gone wrong. The Gecko Brothers, they were called. So they're on the run from the Texas police and the FBI after a crime spree in the Southwest. They end up in Mexico, these 2 brothers. The brothers are George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. And they go to a bar, just a little top me up. The Titty Twister, I believe it's called. We've got big pussy, we got little pussy. If you can find better pussy, fuck it. That guy. I think it's one of Cheech and Chong, and it's one of them, one of those.
It's Cheech Marin.
Yeah. They go to. I thought, this has took a bit of a twist. It's funny here. And then Selma Hayek becomes a vampire. What the fuck? That film.
That was such a great twist, though. I don't think it's necessarily that it's missold. I think they deliberately hid the twist in the marketing.
It was missold in a good, positive way because I did not see this coming. I think it's an hour and a half, isn't it, before you see vampires in it? And then they bastardized the franchise and just made these weird ones that Robert Rodriguez didn't even touch. But yeah, that was.
Did you ever see the TV series of From Dusk Till Dawn?
Apparently, it's good.
No, it isn't.
Is it not?
No, it's not.
Didn't they make it super serious?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
it lost the camp brilliance.
I believe it
film.
wasn't finished either. It's cancelled before it was finished, I believe.
Yeah, it was cancelled halfway through the second
Tarantino
season.
is obviously not the greatest actor in the world at all, but his role in that at the beginning as the sort of unstable brother was just kind of. I thought the dynamic between the two was going to be quite interesting, and that's what I thought that movie was going.
He was obsessed with a very young, very young Juliette Lewis.
It seemed like it was going to be like a really weird sort of like you say a heist movie.
It's got fucking Harvey Keitel in it.
What
you know
a
what I mean?
turn that was! My mind was blown watching that. Just because nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. If you got to see that.
The funny thing is, in the US trailer, it was revealed it was a vampire film. In the European trailer, it wasn't. It was just the next film from Robert Rodriguez, from Desperado, crime thriller, and you know what I mean. I was like, imagine, I was obviously too young to go and see it, but we managed to get a bootleg of it, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it, and I sort of dozed off at the crucial moment where it became.
It looks like the end, though, doesn't it, when they get to the Titty Twister? Because they've escaped the law.
So it was the very moment that it changed from one film to another, and I remember waking up and looking at the film.
The guy with the gun on his
dick.
Right,
They've moved on to the next film without me. But yeah. Complete. I love it, though. It's such a good film.
It's fucking wild, yeah. But it was completely missold to me, and probably thousands of people, because a lot of people's favourite genre is those crime escapade, like Thelma and Louise. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it feels like, a bit of a Thelma and Louise film until they get to the Titty Twist.
It all goes to hell.
Oh, God. That's the last one I've got. I've got some honourable mentions, but not really enough to chat about. But yeah, those missold. But fucking Dead Island, man. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Excellent. Candy, what have you brought?
I just have the one, and this one also hurt deep. I'm going to talk about the brutal day I was betrayed by Jack Black, who up until that moment was one of my favourites.
He went down on the husband list, didn't he?
He almost got kicked off the husband list. He's back on, but still, he was skating on thin ice for a minute. So it was the year 2009, and I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little candy machine, dressed head to toe in black denim and leather, and smelling at Jack Daniels and covered in the grass stains of Ozfest. 80s hair metal was enjoying a bit of resurgence thanks to Motley Crue's Carnival of Sins tour. The Xbox 360 and the PS3 had kind of found their feet. They've been out for a couple of years. They were churning out some fantastic open-world RPG sandbox games. The Tenacious D Pick of Destiny movie had released a couple of years earlier to mediocre applause.
Did you like it?
Of course I liked
that?
it. Come on now. It is a masterpiece, and I won't hear anything said against it. No, I'm not hearing it.
What? Sorry, I missed what you said. It was a masterpiece?
Pick a Destiny
Pick a
film.
Destiny.
It's a lot of shite.
Oscar worthy.
It's crap in its day.
Anyway, the point is, life was good.
Life wasn't good.
A trailer came out from Double Fine Games, the creators of Psychonauts and Grim Fandango, for a game called Brutal Legends. The trailer brought us Jack Black playing main character Eddie, who was a roadie who looked like Jack Black cosplaying as Glenn Danzig.
Was it Eddie Riggs or something
Eddie
like
Riggs,
that?
yeah. Cosplaying
Eddie
as Glenn
Riggs,
Danzig,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, he would dance it.
The game was to include 80s hair metal soundtrack and features the voices of Rob Halford, Lemmy, Ozzy Osbourne, Lita Ford, just to name a few. And the trailer, it featured some clips of gameplay which showed off like an open world, sandbox style adventure game.
It was a bit like Zelda, wasn't it?
Yep, huge map, side quests, some good old hack and slash combat.
A badass looking car.
Badass looking car, banging soundtrack. That it was the whole package basically.
But
this tale takes a turn. So shortly after the game came out, shortly after the trailer came out, a demo, a playable demo of the game.
Yeah.
And it featured, I think it was like the first hour of the game. And true to its promise, it brought us some of the well-loved smashy gameplay, and I absolutely
It's got a good first
lapped
boss
it
as
up.
well, hasn't it?
It was great. Everything ticked all my boxes. And finally, the day came out when I took it home. First couple of hours, great. Everything that was promised and more. Interesting environments, wacky Jack Black antics, a fun storyline.
Plays a solo when he's beating an enemy.
That's right, yeah. And I was whacking down baddies left, right, and centre with my axe, driving around in my hot rod, listening to Van Halen. And then came a moment, and you'll probably remember the moment. It can only be described as a real-time strategy element. And I was slightly miffed by this. I love adventure.
Well, you're like, this is a fun little mini game.
Yeah, literally. So I love adventure games, but I had little to no experience of RTS games, and just because they simply don't interest me in the slightest, they still don't.
Especially with a controller.
Especially with a controller. That's right, because it was Xbox and PS3 before it came out on the PC.
Yeah.
I persevered though. I thought it was just like a slightly boring blip. I was like, well, I just get through this part and we'll carry on with the smash. But then this happened again. And then again. And then finally, the acceptance of my betrayal just washed over me. And I'd been ambushed. Yeah. And this was
by a real-time
strategy. This was not the game I was promised. It was
the
not
funny
the
thing
game I was
is,
expecting.
on the back of the box, remember when it used to tell you the genre on the back of the box on 360 and PS3 games? It does say real-time strategy.
Well, I wasn't looking at the bloody box. I was looking at
no
Jack
one
Black.
does. No one does. No one does.
It literally is just a straight-up RTS game. I never finished it.
No one did.
Well, as I understand it, so being somebody that doesn't play that type of game, the actual gameplay mechanics of it was a pretty bad version of an RTS game. As like behind the excitement of the cast and the music, like the game itself as an RTS wasn't even very good. And when it was
an RTS on horde mode, wasn't it, Gadget? Like
pretty
constant
much.
barrage.
It was almost like tower defense.
Yes.
It was if you thinned down a total war game, and made a tower defense rather than you having like kind of set battles, you basically just had to survive as long as possible.
Don't worry about your resources, just
it weren't good. It weren't good at all.
The turning point for me was when you get your character gets wings, and then you can rather than it being like a top down camera angle, you're kind of flying around above it. I was like, oh no, this is the game that it is. But I mean, you could go down and kind of help out your troops, but for what it was, there was no point.
You had no agency on the battle,
and they were all like the same
that's
character models and everything. You remember you had those. Your troops were kind of the headbangers. They just go around banging their heads. But yeah, when I was kind of researching it, trying to refresh my memory, about the whole sort of fiasco. Apparently, it was literally a deliberate case of trying to trick people because Tim Schafer actually did want to make a fully RTS game, but EA stepped in.
Oh yeah, that was a thing all along. Yeah, he's just got hoodwinked.
Just looking at the Steam page now, and the description says Brutal Legend is an action adventure that marries visceral action combat with open world freedom.
Still lying.
Set in a univerce somewhere between Lord of the Rings and Spinal Tap.
So
it's a
it's
fresh
still
take on
lying.
the action driving genre.
It still lies. I can't believe it still lies today. It's a real-time strategy game, a bad one. It's got probably 4 hours of exploration.
Not even that,
2,
I don't think.
But believe it or not, Candy, I finished it.
I am
It's got
impressed.
good reviews.
It's very, very positive on Steam, and for some reason it's in my library. I don't remember buying this on PC.
I think you probably got it given for free.
They forced it on you.
Probably.
There are more like platform wondering elements to it, but those elements are leading up to another real-time segment. It's just not good.
And weirdly, there wasn't a mini-map either, and it's supposedly
No,
an
there
open world game.
It's fucking shit.
So disappointing. So, yeah,
They should have made a sequel, and that be the... what's wrong with making a rock and roll Banjo-Kazooie? Do you know what I mean? What's wrong with that?
That's what I mean. I don't understand why if they didn't think an RTS would sell, why did they then make one? Why did they try and trick people?
Coming off of like Psychonauts, which is a platforming game and stuff, they could have
What's
just
that
done
one
that.
that you like? That
I-
the one where the guy's doing a sort of platform and he's riffing his guitar as he's killing everybody. You guys played that recently?
Oh yeah, the Artful Escape.
You don't kill
I think
anyone,
it's
eh?
called.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't kill anyone.
You just play guitar.
That's an endless runner. That one.
Oh, okay.
Just run around playing the guitar with lots of nice visuals.
Don't get me wrong, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's really good.
But yeah, that's the day the part of my love for Jack Black died, unfortunately.
Do you know he was Brutal Legend? That he was around then when I went and did a bit of travelling as well, and I remember like losing faith in games. You know when you have that couple, I don't know if you guys have ever had it. You have that couple of years where you just nothing
Yeah,
intrigues you
I have.
anymore. When it was like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Revelations, I'm just like, I'm done.
Well, funnily enough,
And it
I was
takes-
thinking earlier.
Sometimes it takes a new generation to drag you back
Yeah,
in.
I mean, when we were talking earlier, we've all sort of spoken about games that have kind of come out around the same time. So I wonder if there was a trend of like trying to trick people, and they've actually brought that back a little bit.
Just to buy it.
Kind of 2008 to 2012 was a weird time in games because
Yes.
it was when the marketing budgets were getting bigger than the development budgets, and they were trying to sell everything to everyone. 'Cause that's when you start getting like a lot of celebrities doing voiceovers
And
in
seeing
games.
games for the first time on buses.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah,
saw
and
that.
stuff
It's like,
like
what's
that.
happening here? Trailers. There's trailers
Yeah,
on that.
you-
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
you only ever saw like advertisements for video games when it was like a new Grand Theft Auto or something like that.
Yeah. It's very
but,
odd, isn't
brilliant. Stig, what did you end up settling on
Okay, so
in 2011 that involves
So, no,
zombies?
Yeah,
so
to
the
do
thing
with
is,
zombies.
I was worried when you said 2011 zombies because earlier we were talking in our Discord and Gadget, who was originally going to pick something that I'd picked. I thought, fuck's sake, that means I have to pick something else. And then when you said that, I was like, have you just chosen what I've chosen?
Even though I didn't interact, I did read it. Don't worry.
Yeah. I want to, can I talk about the one that you were going to pick first quickly before I move on to my main
Yeah,
one?
sure.
Yeah, so the first one was Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
So, if like me, this came out when I was 21, I wasn't really into musicals back then, but Johnny Depp was kind of the flavour of the decade, wasn't he, in the 90s? He was,
it was the hot topic
yeah,
at the
he
moment.
was in a lot of
wasn't
things.
he?
He was riding off the success of the likes of Pirates, and he was, this trailer
He
came,
discovered eyeliner, didn't
his
he?
trailer came out for what looked like this weird Tim Burton horror-esque film of a guy killing and butchering people coming into his
Put people into
barbershop.
pies.
And it looked good. It looked interesting.
It did look good, mate.
And then cue me sitting down to watch it in the cinema, and people started singing and dancing.
Yeah.
They're not even that good though. That's the problem. It's
aren't.
not a good musical.
Yeah. they really
And I know now that this is obviously based on the musical
Play.
by Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler that apparently is critically acclaimed and everyone loves.
It's really good,
Everyone
yeah.
thinks it's really good. But Tim Burton didn't. He did not advertise it like that at all.
Mm.
So So when I was considering doing it, I went and I rewatched like the original release
me
trailer
too. I
for
did
it.
that.
There's not a bit. There is one bit of singing in there, but it's the bit where like Sweeney Todd's running, going, "Hello, you," and like as if he's like trying to get business.
The thing is, I can't remember which came first, this or From Hell, which is another
From
Victorian.
From Hell
Yeah,
came
yeah,
first.
yeah.
And Johnny Depp was excellent in From Hell, which is a comic book adaptation. And I thought it was going to be another one of those.
Yeah, I thought it looked to me like it was this kind of Jack the Ripper-esque horror film with a Tim Burton
Victorian
twist
slasher.
with Johnny Depp playing a weird character. It's like, oh, this looks fucking brilliant. I'd like to rewatch it again now. I have grown to love musicals over the last few years a lot more than I ever did.
The problem is, and
But I know that they can't sing in it.
Mm.
They've actually changed.
That's the problem.
They actually changed the score to fit Johnny Depp's vocal
It's
range.
it's a different. It's in a different key and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, Tim Burton did he had the audacity to make 3 new songs for it, and they're terrible. Don't fuck up a critically acclaimed musical.
That opening song is one of the new ones.
Yes.
Where it's like, where he's talking about London being a piece of shit and stuff like that.
Don't write Tim Burton. Stick to stripy things and skeletons.
Especially when you like take one
Don't
of
try and out Sondheim.
yeah, exactly, one of Broadway's like most celebrated musical composers.
It would be like you write. It would be like you doing an adaptation of a Lin-Manuel Miranda thing, Stig, and you go, I can write a better song than he can.
The problem with the film is you can tell the 3 songs that aren't supposed to be there because they're shit. It's like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah.
The thing is, I remember going to see it at the cinema when it came out, and because I knew it was a musical.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care that it was a musical. It's just like I watched the trailer, I thought, oh, it looks cool, and but because I'd heard of it as a musical, I knew what to expect. I went to Cineworld in Bolden, South Shields.
Somebody asked
and there was about 200 people in the cinema because it was like opening weekend, like it was full. Like, the big new Tim Burton Johnny Depp film,
and it was marketed massively, weren't it? We're everywhere.
Yes, and by the time the second song started and there hadn't been a line of dialogue between any characters, about 50 chavs got up and walked out.
Because you completely understand why. Because horror films at the cinema, they're big draws for people, especially for young people.
Massive.
For mid to late teenagers, early 20s. They're a huge seller to that kind of market. If you saw that trailer and you think, oh, Johnny Depp, obviously he's massive at the time. I know it's Tim Burton and everything.
He's come off the back of From Hell and Sleepy Hollow.
And
Do you know
Pirates.
what I mean? And Pirates, yeah.
You think, I'm well into this, I'll go there, and then and you not know it's a musical, you'd be like, what the fuck? And the thing is with this film is that it actually received complaints to trading standards or whatever it is, the advertising standards. People actually put official complaints in because it wasn't advertised as a musical.
It wasn't.
The 2.5 minute trailer did feature all of the dialogue in the film.
Yeah.
It had a
The trailer
voiceover as well,
features about 5 to 10 seconds of Johnny Depp kind of singing along, and you wouldn't get that this is a musical from that. You would get that this is just a guy wandering around singing his song to himself, like
just when you thought it was safe to go back to the barbers.
Because
Johnny Depp
in most trailers,
Todd.
what would happen is you would do the little bit, and you'd have the song. And then it would kick into gear and start to show in the dance and the song numbers in the trailer, so people know it's a musical at that point.
Like The Greatest Showman.
But they don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Greatest Showman, you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
It's fucking bollocks, man.
The thing is also Sweeney Todd's unusual as a musical because it's a very dour musical. Like it's easy to make it
awful.
It's
story.
easy to make a trailer for but it's easy to make a trailer for something like Greatest Showman or Hamilton or anything else like that because the songs are generally uplifting,
and that's the draw as well, isn't it?
They're all in a major key, and you can put a trailer across them. Kind of hard with the songs in Sweeney Todd. It is a film to slit your wrist
or throat.
I will say Sacha
and be made into a pie.
Baron Cohen was very good in it. I think he's
the best thing in it.
He was the highlight, but I think
the best thing in it.
Helena Bonham Carter was terrible.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
She's been terrible in films for a while.
Even
never forget that she was the good ape in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Even Alan Rickman
the
was
ape that
bad.
kissed the human. Alan Rickman was bad in it.
He went full ham.
Yeah.
And Alan Rickman can't sing either.
No.
No.
Why
With that
employ
voice.
people to do a musical that can't sing? That just doesn't make sense to me at all.
He doesn't, mate.
Anyway.
He doesn't.
But anyway, what were you actually
So
talking about?
this is a weird one because Oodles kind of touched on it when saying when something's missold but actually turns out to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
So this is one of those ones where the trailers missold this to me completely. I thought I was going in to see a general teen slasher / zombie film, and it turned out to be completely the opposite. This is Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Fucking love.
Yeah.
I love this film.
So
I love
2011/12, around then. As many of you know, my wife likes terrible horror films. So when she says, "Can we go see Cabin in the Woods?" and you watch a trailer for Cabin in the Woods, and you see a bunch of teenagers going off to a
It's like
cabin,
Evil Dead, isn't it?
and all you get from that trailer is, I'm going to spoil this. If you haven't seen this, you should watch
Yeah,
it.
there is-
It's fucking incredible. But
This
we're gonna
film
talk about
has
the major
Shyamalan
twist.
style twists to it.
Better than anything he's ever done. Sorry.
Yeah, bigger, way bigger.
But all you get from the trailer is you know that something dodgy is going on. There's a guy pressing a few buttons, watching him on a video, and there's some kind of weird thing that happens with a bird hitting this force field wall. That's all you get. And from that trailer, you just kind of think, this is just... It feels like this is a rich dude playing around with a bunch of teenagers.
That's what I thought, mate.
And
Yeah.
he's stumbled upon an area that has zombies in it, and he lures kids there, and then he watches them, and he releases traps on them and gets them to, and watches them die one by one. And that is not what the film is at all. And then even the opening credits, the opening of this film has Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins characters chit-chatting around a base, riding around on one of those little carts inside an industrial
And you
complex,
don't know why.
talking about child-proofing cabinets and the betting pool, and then that's it. Then you don't see
You
them
kind of
for
forget
half
about them, don't you?
the movie. Yeah, and you're like, but you're kind of like, what the fuck was that? Like,
Am I in the right film?
yeah, and then it cuts to the teenagers, and then you spend the next, God, must be.
But you've got your archetypes, haven't you? You've got your jock, your stone,
Oh, yeah,
your pretty
yeah.
girl. Your girl that's not supposed to be fit, but she's clearly fit.
She wears glasses, the ugly ape.
Hello.
It stars a Chris Hemsworth pre-Avengers, or just around the time he was getting into Thor.
Yeah,
And
it's stunning.
yeah, about halfway through this film, it takes a massive twist from what just seems like a Evil Dead rip-off, where they find a Book of the Dead and some zombies come out of the ground and attack them. And then they realise that they can't get out. And the way that they do that, I fucking love that scene where he tries to jump over the ravine on his bike.
It's so good.
Because they've blocked the way out. These people that are watching them have blocked the way out, and he just hits the wall and bounces down this.
They kill the main star.
Yeah. And it's then revealed that this is actually some kind of big organisation who have to do this to prevent the end of the world.
Yeah, to feed the demon.
Oh, have you not seen this?
Of course he hasn't.
Oh, mate.
Oh.
It's like Squid Game or something. It's
You should have
so weird, but...
Well,
you should have said something
well,
then.
To be fair, I don't watch horror films, so I was never the intended
It's
audience.
not a horror
horror
film.
film.
It's a comedy.
No, but it was marketed as a horror film.
Exactly.
Which is why I
I mean,
avoided
You were
the
That's the
first
point.
missold.
half
You were
is a horror
missold.
film.
The part of it's a horror film, but then it turns into this like comedy horror, and it's so
that
well
girl
done.
does snog
Yes,
a
she
mounted
does.
wolf head. I like that.
Does it well.
And
She does.
I mean, I'm
You
intrigued.
should,
I'll watch
you
it at some
should.
point.
But knowing the twist
the-
makes you want to watch it, trust me.
yeah, I'm disappointed that I didn't know that. I should have spoken up, because the twist is actually one of the best things in it, where it goes from
By a mile.
what just seems like a general like horror film, where you think, oh, these teenagers are going to get killed off one by one, and the girl will survive, or blah blah blah. It's your typical horror affair. There's some evil dude watching them and playing with them, but then it's just flips it on its head, and it turns it completely meta. It knows what it is. It's completely self-referential, and yeah, the whole twist on it is
Ending, man.
it's
Cool.
incredible. In the
You know
ending,
about
the ending is so good.
The ending's incredible. You know about the monster cameos, don't there? There's loads of famous
Oh yeah,
monsters.
yeah, all the different.
It's really hard
monsters
to
and
spot
stuff.
them all.
Class. Gadget, to get your feel to it in a weird way, how things change. Did you finish Outlast?
Yeah.
Do you remember how you get in and it's like, you're in an asylum and you're hard hitting journalists, and then you find out there's some kind of secret base underneath, and it becomes
it goes supernatural.
It goes
then you
fucking mental.
turn it. It's science
Like
fiction.
that.
Yeah, he does that.
Right, okay.
But better. And there's less Willis.
What's the pity?
Fair enough.
But yeah, that was one of those films where I thought I was just going to cinema with Kate to watch a generic horror flick.
Is it J.J. Abrams or somebody famous?
No, Joss Whedon wrote it.
Joss Whedon, that's it. But other than that,
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's one of those ones where the mis-selling worked. And surprisingly, I don't know why, but somehow, the plot twists and the Twitter, that just didn't... I mean, it was 2011, so Twitter and Facebook were around, but
yeah, you
but
never
now
saw
you
anything.
don't-
We're probably the first media outlet to spoil it.
Yeah, everyone spoils stuff over stuff now, doesn't it? So it's one that I didn't know what was coming at all, and
It might be one of those things where people just respected the spoiler. You know, it's like Oodles managed to get however long it was until he got to the end of BioShock.
Still shocks me.
And people don't spoil that particular spoiler because it is, so they'll reference it, but they never say what it actually is.
I do also think that, I mean, there are still people who are like yourself. Then I don't watch horror films. You thought it was just a generic horror film. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people just thought that. So
Gadget, it goes full Lovecraft.
I mean,
It's
I watch cosmic horror. I do like cosmic
Netflix
horror.
or Prime. It's always around,
It's
isn't it?
insane. It's an insane. It's always on 4OD come Halloween. It's one of those big ones that they always drop. I think it's because it came around after Cabin Fever remake as well,
yeah.
and that is a dour,
Yeah.
somber horror film.
when you
Yeah, because I remember at the time there was the marketing, because I think it was the same Halloween or something
Yeah.
like
Yes.
that. It was Cabin Fever and Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
And I remember being at the cinema with my ex-wife going,
Nope.
why are the two films involving cabins?
exactly,
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds so generic.
That's how
it's a
because
cabin in the woods.
It's deliberate,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's deliberate. It's really fucking good. It is meta, and I will say it again. I'm not going to say it a third time, but it is the most
Ila Pia.
META film in that kind of genre that I have actually seen. It's and it does a bit like The Sixth Sense, where the second watch makes you go, it's got a little bit of that to it as well. Like,
enough.
and knowing the twist would make, I believe it would get people to watch it because it's not scary.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I will add it to the list.
I'm sorry, I've
That
added it
list
to
is
yours.
too fucking
I've
big,
got
mate.
Gadget's film movie club list on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Whenever he talks about films, I've not watched that. I'm adding it to the list.
Coming to a patron near you. Gadgets Movie Club.
Anyway, speaking of people who need to watch movies for Patreon, Biggie.
You guys are shit.
I'm waiting for him to have free time to do it. Turns out the man's got a family and does things.
Are you saying
you can-
saying that Vin Diesel and his family and that are not as important
More
as your
important,
own?
yeah.
You
Exactly.
disrespect Big Dom.
Disgusting behaviour.
So, yeah, this is.
It's 1942.
So, one of the games that first got me into first-person shooters was Halo, and I was a big fan of Halo. Played Halo 2, thought it was all right, but I drifted off
I love Halo too.
from the Xbox to the PlayStation, so I never got to play the rest of the Halo games. But got very excited when I was at EGX and saw a trailer for Destiny. And when
Destiny.
And when Destiny, to me, the trailer that they sold to me of what this game was going to be is technically not what the game was when I had it in my home, in my
It was
console.
marketed as the Halo killer, wasn't it?
It's...
I thought it was Killzone.
I
I thought that's where this was going. I saw Killzone and I was told it was going to be a good game.
It turns out he's just brown.
The problem with Destiny for me, because don't get me wrong, it's a fucking excellent game, and I spent hours and hours and hours on that game. But it's not the game I thought it was going to be, because to me it was sold as, like you say, the Halo beta. It was going to have a campaign. It was going to be
We were told you could play
with
it
your
single
friends.
player
Yeah, you
throughout.
could play it with your friends. You were going to be involved in other
Yeah.
people's games. or their missions to do this kind of game. There was going to be new content all the time. There was going to be worlds that you could travel to. I think it said each planet was going to be bigger than the entirety of Halo Reach. I don't know how big that was.
It did.
There's playable terrain. You see, the inexplicable story, I just don't have no time to explain. You got to go to a separate website to read up about the lore. I just couldn't understand why they did that.
The Grimoire cards were brilliant.
It was fantastic, but...
They were, but they should have been in the game itself.
to direct you away from what you're playing to go and have a look about what the fuck you're playing for.
Yeah, in the middle of a raid. Sorry, guys, I just need to read this Grimoire card.
I just generally half the time, once you'd obviously done the campaign or you did the first strike, it was entertaining because you're like, you've not done it before. But then it was so fucking repetitive. They said you were never going to get bored playing that game. But it was the same thing all the time. You moved to all the different planets, and it was the same public events would appear. You knew where the enemy was going to be all the time. You created this character. They said this character was going to go through like this 10-year vision of this game.
Story choices.
Your character race made fuck all difference. It didn't matter because you wore. It was about the armor.
They didn't speak.
They never said a word. They even riffed on that at one point. It's all about the loot. It fucking was, but the RNG was fucking tighter than this country. It was just kind of.
It promised me a wizard on the moon.
Yeah, it just frustrated me that you'd have to keep repeatedly doing these events. And the RNG back then was just so bad that the chance of you getting, I don't know, the Galahorn or something was something ridiculous, like 0.07% of the drop rate, if you were doing the raid. The grind was awful. It was fun to begin with, but then it really did become that grind. It went on and on and on. And then I just watched a documentary on YouTube from Bungie going back when they were talking about leading up to Halo coming out, and they've got these vid docs that are up on YouTube. It was really interesting watching it. There's one called Brave New World, which is about 50 minutes where they talk about where they started and where they come up to Destiny and how big that could be. And it shows you the passion of what they were trying to do, but didn't quite, in my opinion, deliver. It wasn't the game that I thought it was going to be. And I know Destiny 2 has come out, and yes, technically they have delivered a game over 10 years. They have added content.
They've also destroyed a game.
But they have changed so much of it. And I played it to death. I played Destiny 1, I played Destiny 2, but I just dropped off eventually because as much as I enjoyed the multiplayer, the PvP was great. It was fun. It got balked at times. Yep. But just overall, it was more about just playing with my mates. To this day, I still have no idea what's happening in that story. I just never read the lore, couldn't be asked.
The best thing is Bungie had no idea what was happening.
No, they made
it
up as they went along.
Yeah, they actually said like the whole kind of thing. They don't know what the Traveler is.
They don't have an ending, do they?
No, they don't have an ending. They don't know what the darkness was because in the original story they referenced this concept of the darkness came for the Traveler or something like
really
that.
Generic.
And yeah, it's really as generic as possible.
Just in Hawkins.
I was going to say it's the band.
That's the end game. You go into a room, it's just in Hawkins and the band just playing.
They said recently that like the concept of the darkness in the Destiny lore, they don't actually know what it was.
It was supposed to be a miasma of darkness and.
Yeah, but they just said it for the sake of the
know.
cutscene and thought they would write it later.
Yeah,
but it was such a. I mean, it wasn't that it was a lazily written game because there was a lot of good lore in it. But the problem was the game got rebooted like 2 years before it came out, so that's why none of it makes sense.
Just that it got cut. The story doesn't make sense. There's areas that blocked off. I mean, the graphics. Don't get me wrong. It looks amazing. It's a game by Bungie, so the gunplay is phenomenal. A lot of it
that's what I was going to say
works.
It plays great.
It is, but it's rubbish.
Sorry, I was going to say I played Destiny 2. I never got into Destiny 1, so I thought I'll jump into Destiny 2 when that came out. Yeah, it's a great shooter, but I find myself just enjoying whatever story missions they do. And every time we do, is it raid? I don't know what they call it.
A raid.
The raid's the big one where you need 6 people with strikes.
Yeah, it bores the shit out of me. Honestly,
the thing
just
is,
repetitive. Stop. Oh, we've all died. Go back to the beginning. Do it again. Oh, we've all died. go back and do it again. And now I've got a friend who he's put so many hours into it and he loves it, God bless him. But like when we did a raid, he was just like, right guys, you got to do this, got to do that. And I was like, I'm just listening to instructions.
Yeah,
boring the life out of me.
Is it?
I'm listening to someone who knows what they've done tell me what to do. And
there is a massive problem with Destiny, and I love Destiny 1 after like the Taken King. Is it Taken King? What was it called when they changed?
They changed it with
Taken
different
King.
implements, but Taken King was a big one.
When that happened, that was really, really good. But that was like a campaign. And Destiny 2 started, the Red War that they had was such an incredible campaign. Guess what? You can't play it anymore.
They pulled stuff out. It's just...
Bought the fucking DLC because it was on sale. And then about 2 weeks later, they announced, we're going to blow up this planet. And so I can't play it anymore.
At
that point, I was like, I'm done with this game.
That is mis-selling on an abhorrent level. You shouldn't do that. There should be at least an option in the menu to play through a campaign that exists.
Yeah,
I got
I bought that and I can't play it.
I think it's disgusting.
I got the special edition for the original Destiny. So I think you either got a digital version, that one, and I think there was a limited edition one, which is like the big one. And then the expansions would come out. And then they said, right, for you to play this, you had like 4 options.
You had 40 quid.
And you had to rebuy the game again, plus the expansion. And then they did it again. And then they did it again.
Or, if you buy it at the end of its life, you get all of it for one price.
It was so insulting to everyone that had spent all their money beforehand, the loyal people that had built that game up. To then do, and I know this is a new.
It's such a shame because it's such a great playing game.
This is a new
I don't even like
type
first-person
of
shooters,
game,
but
isn't it?
I
We've
like
not come
Destiny.
across this kind of way they've done this before, in a way, as far as I'm aware.
Have you booted it up in last year?
I loaded up Destiny 2.
We spoke about that on this podcast. I don't know what to do on it anymore.
I did when I got my Xbox because it was on Game Pass at the time.
What do you do on it anymore?
Well, you see, I remember loading it up, and obviously because I didn't have an Xbox profile for Destiny, I had it on the PlayStation.
Play the original level, don't you, from the first game?
Well, that was it. Like it loads up, and you're in the Cosmodrome, like at the very start of Destiny
originally.
1, and I'm like, because I remember I had it on PC and as well for Destiny 2.
That was the Red War, didn't it?
That was the Red War stuff, and that was a really good opening level and stuff like that. But yeah, you open up and you're like at the very first level of the first game.
It makes no sense.
What game did I install?
And then after you beat the first level, you get the final cutscene from the original Red War, and then what the fuck's happening here?
It just makes no sense.
Full game.
And the thing that I was thinking of...
It also does really stupid stuff. Sorry, Big. It also really does stupid stuff with like... I just hate the design of some of the enemies.
I do, mate. The garbage.
The Vex are generic as fuck. The Cabal make no fucking sense. Whatever the other ones, the fucking weird kind of Skaven looking things, they're just terrible. It's like the game, they haven't evolved the game at all because there's nothing new in it.
There's nothing new in it. Apart from new armor and new guns. That's what people find it like. That's the addiction, isn't it? They did put in that Everlight store so you can spend real money on things now. Oh yeah, why not?
Just looked
transactional. You also had my mate M. Flem. He said that the thing that put him off the most was that what I referred to earlier as well is the fact that you know where all the enemies are. There's none of this random, let's have the boss.
No, the
let's do this strike, but have it reverse or something stupid like that. Do you know what I mean? Just something different.
They have world events, and it's always the same 4 world events
every time. It's nothing random.
But people love it. I'm like Stig. I know people that still put so much time into it every day.
That's the thing that hurts me.
Shooting aspects.
It plays incredible.
I thought it was going to be a bit like Borderlands, where you had this kind of. You could play it solo, or you could play it with your mates. It had this story to it that you'd be doing these side missions. That's to me how I visioned it. It looked like it was going to be like a really cool, better looking.
They've recently had a new expansion, haven't they? And everyone's saying this is it. Yeah. Destiny's back. I'm like, where's it fucking been?
Witch Queen, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's out soon. It's the Witch Queen.
Yeah, that's it. It's back, guys. You shouldn't have left.
I've just uninstalled it. I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah.
I'm on my Steam. I haven't played it since the 12th of December 2020. It's like, I'm not going to play it again.
Wow.
I have mates that they've been playing it 1 and 2.
That was the last time I played it.
And they still play it, and they drop off it and they go back for the big event, like the new expansion and that.
Yeah, after the 30 quid that they spent.
I just can't be bothered.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing.
It lost me on the Crucible stuff. Like, I was playing the original, like the one-player stuff, and that was starting to get grindy, and then kind of to progress and do some of the other stuff. You had to get all these achievements in Crucible. It's like, I don't like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So
it forces you
first raid they did on Destiny 2?
PvP, which games should never do.
The first raid on Destiny 2, the pyramid one. Fuck that.
They were
Fuck
good fun
that to
once
hell.
you got your head around them and you could get a group of
No,
people.
because like Stig says, you've got one person that's done it telling you,
But
guys,
that happens a
we've got
lot,
to do
yes.
this. Stand on this. Stand on
The
that.
fun is working
Don't
it
move.
out
Don't move.
together
Oh, we've got to start
to
again.
do it. That was the fun of it. And then, like you say, when you want to do the grind to get the weapons, then you have to have somebody doing that whole directional thing. And if somebody keeps fucking up or
Such a shame because
trying
it's
to get
such a
mates
great. I'd
together,
love them
it's
to do.
hard to get 6 on a night that's going to spend about 5 hours doing the raid. You know, it's
Yeah.
Oh,
imagine them using that game engine that they've created and just having
something good.
a single player, like 10-hour campaign with that gunplay.
I just think
even I'd be all up in that. I'd be up in
I
that
don't
shit.
know whether it's because they're stuck into the type of game it's now become, whether they can't get themselves out of it now.
Because it makes them millions. That's
But I
what
mean,
they're
if
doing.
you go back and watch that vid doc, because I only found that out today. I just was trying to do a bit of research about this. I was looking for the original trailer that I saw, found that, and then I saw this vid doc and watched it, and you can see the passion in the developers about what this their game is going to be like. And I just think that's not what it actually ended up being. I don't think that's what they were trying to do.
Big indie game, isn't it?
Their little contract with Activision, I think, fucked them over. And I think it's not the game that it was going to be.
Make more money.
But yeah, Destiny for me was a great game. I spent a million hours in it. I really did. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. To me, it was missold.
No Killzone, was it, pal?
No. Oh, and very quickly, I must say, I just found, what's his name?
The menus on Netflix.
Menus on Destiny.
Oh my God.
He's realised he can change his armour on Destiny. Oh my God, this
The
is
original
better.
voiceover for the Ghost. Piece
Peter
of thing,
Dinklage.
I actually found it quite endearing. It didn't bother me as much as everybody made it out to be.
It became Nolan North.
It did. I don't understand
Wizard
why
came
they
from the
changed
moon.
it. It actually kind of worked. Because his
Didn't realise it was
performance,
Dinklage.
Well, no,
his performance was that
yeah,
bad.
Dinklage didn't have the time to do it.
He didn't have. That's why. Yeah.
Dinklage did the voices when Game of Thrones was still in its first season.
Yeah.
Back in 2009.
Couldn't get
But
it
his
for number two,
performance,
could they?
because
So
it
they
isn't
just
quite
changed
right,
it out.
kind of works as a ghost to me. Because the ghost is obviously just this unnatural AI sort of thing going flying around. I actually thought it
Hey,
worked.
did you know that in the last expansion on Destiny 2, your character talks now randomly?
Was it?
He just speaks like, what the fuck? You don't even get to choose his voice. He's just got he speaks
okay.
now. Or she speaks now. It's weird, isn't it? After all these years, I'll be like, whoa, you can speak? Fucking weird, man. Weird.
That's like the Tom and Jerry film.
Don't talk about that.
where they discover
They're friends in the film,
where
guys. They
where
like
they discover
each
that
other.
they can talk.
And then become best friends. Oh, anyway, yes, brilliant. Thank you for that topic gadget. We got content out of that. Do we have
That's what we're here for.
We delivered the bare minimum.
do we have a mailbag? Is it bulging or is it just a bit sodden?
Oh, it's a bit sodden. We've only had a few ones this week, but they're all quality. They're all
Maybe
top quality.
unlike us, they do their research before buying things.
Yeah, probably. So we'll start off with Xenos Infinity, who came in on Twitter saying, there's a game on Steam called Dark. It was advertised as a spiritual sequel to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Ooh.
It's actually more like a cover-based shooter, but with all the
What?
shooting pointed at you, and you're allergic to bullets. Stealth powers are useless too.
Oh. I've never even heard of that, but I like Vampire the Masquerade.
I think I've heard of Dark. I think I know the kind of game
The
that
reason
it is.
it's probably still on PC then is probably because it's gash.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy it on G2A right now for £1.36. Yeah, Wikipedia says Dark is a stealth action game with RPG elements that lets you slip into the role of the ultimate killer, a vampire.
Oh.
Stalk you enemies, not stalk your enemies. Stalk you enemies from the shadows, then use powerful vampire abilities to attack and silently dispatch them. The exciting story of Dark immerses you in a world full of blood and darkness.
No way.
In which the hunter can become the hunted at any time.
Sounds riveting.
Buying that.
I think it's
buying that now.
Yeah, mixed reviews on Steam. It's been out since 2013. It's not very
when
good.
you see the mixed reviews on Steam and there's some little evangelist on the bottom going, I think this game's really good. Ignore the negative reviews. They all must be wrong and I'm correct. Always makes me laugh. Poor lad.
Everything, no matter how bad it is someone's favourite of something.
Of course, and so it should be.
Yes. Next up, we have Ray. He's come in saying, The most misleading trailer I can think of is the trailer for the 2009 game Brutal Legend.
Aha.
I picked this one over some more famous offenders such as Watch Dogs or No Man's Sky.
Jesus.
I weren't allowed to talk about No Man's Sky because I've done that too much.
No, you weren't, because you would have went on for days about it. The reason I picked them instead of these, though those trailers provided false information about features the games did not have, the trailer of Brutal Legend completely switched the genre of its game.
Yes.
The trailer was depicting a fast-paced hack and slash game with a wacky heavy metal theme and Jack Black as the main character. However, after the first handful of minutes playing, the game turns into a third-person RTS and stays like that for the rest of its run-through. Turns out EA had such low confidence in the game's strange design, it fabricated a trailer with footage from the prologue alone to make the game appeal to a wider audience. In fact, they even made a demo with this particular portion of the game, so everyone was fooled back then. The whole story is kind of funny when you think back, but I would like to share it with you guys.
I want a refund.
Still heartbroken.
I want a refund for Brutal Legend. Full price.
No Man's Sky that put one of my best mates off for pre-ordering because of how that originally turned out.
Hey,
but
how dare he? I've been there since day one, and it's a good game now.
Bloody well turned that game around
Now.
and actually delivered, if not what they said they were going to, but more.
Yeah, imagine if they wanted to charge for it. I'd have been fuming.
Well, they have, but the thing is, I hate how all game companies now use that as a example. They're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter how it's released. And I'm quoting Todd Howard. It doesn't matter how it's released. It matters what game it becomes. No, it matters on release what game it is.
It took 2 years to become a game. That's the problem.
I think the one positive thing you can take from the way Hello Games did, because they're a studio of 15 people, and they made more money than God from the mis-selling of it originally, all the updates have been free.
Yeah.
Like, Fallout 76 came out and it was a bag of shite. And the first thing that that Bethesda did before fixing the game was put a fucking premium pass into it. You know?
Which Candy bought.
That's when it lost me. Even me.
They're like a massive mis-selling on what's at the center of the universe for No Man's Sky as well.
Guess what it was? Another universe.
It just
reset the universe.
Yeah. It's like, are you fucking...
It doesn't do that now, by the way, guys. I'm not going to spoil what it does now.
Yeah, but like...
Really the game's
so
good now.
Oh, finally got to the end of the universe, and the
Bricks
clips went up on
console
YouTube. And it was...
No, it's a good ending now.
Yeah, because Sean Murray had gone out and said stuff like that, you know, it'll take you years to finish this game. There's like 14 quadrillion planets.
It took me a week to finish it originally.
I was going to say, like, the first person who publicly finished it was like 17 hours.
Nothing will ever be better than that Jurassic Park theme. Like, where it showed you get like dinosaur-like creatures like this because it's like
procedurally generated.
Yeah, so it could just do any kind of creature, and it's showing all these like proper elegant-looking creatures, and then it comes up and it's like something with like a chicken's body with a T-Rex's head or something, isn't it? Like just struggling to move.
Even the first planet I landed on, they were a bit fucked up, and I was like, that looks really weird.
I played a little bit of it last week, and I now have a Gundam, and I'm fighting sandworms on No Man's Sky. It's a completely different game. It's good release. Now. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I do think that was more Sony's fault than
I do.
Hello Games' fault.
I do.
Also, playing it in VR is incredible.
I need to try that.
I've heard.
But yeah, Brutal Legend. No, we'll not do that one again. Last up, Angry Kurt saying, my answer is the first Assassin's Creed.
What?
It had a few CGI trailers which portrayed the game as the next step in stealth games. I was expecting something akin to a historical Hitman mixed with Deus Ex, and there being loads of different ways to approach levels to take out your target. It didn't end up like that. It was more of an open-world action-adventure with more combat than stealth, and the stealth that there was pretty one-note compared to the aforementioned games.
That's true.
So I came away disappointed. The next couple of sequels kind of did the same thing with their pre-release trailers, but at least I found those more enjoyable overall, and I knew what to expect from the gameplay. And he is right there, because the first...
he is right.
The first Assassin's Creed is... It's 7 levels of exactly the same thing. You go, you find your informant. Your informant tells you where the guy to kill is. You go find the guy, you stealth kill him, you get a cutscene, and then you do the fucking...
The only story in the original Assassin's Creed is the Desmond stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, because Altair is fuck all.
He's just an assassin. Like, you do this hit, get that. I mean, the thing is, Assassin's Creed was originally supposed to be Prince of Persia, wasn't it?
It was a spin-off.
For years. And then they went, oh no, this is too much for Prince of Persia. So they just dumped a game onto it and it's sold.
At least we got the Ezio games after that, though. They were fucking brilliant.
I should stop calling it Assassin's Creed now. That's another missold.
Yeah.
It's just they don't even care about the whole like future Assassin's
in
stuff.
Valhalla, they literally don't even mention the name Assassin anymore. It's the hidden. They call them hidden ones.
Yeah.
I think the point where I fell off I mean, I enjoyed Black Flag, but the point where I kind of stopped caring about them, there is a point, I think it's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where where Ezio kind of walks into this thing in Rome and starts talking to a god with the seed of the universe in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
you took it too. I could deal with the animus stuff. Could deal with that sci-fi bullshit.
I mean,
it's Ezio in the fucking 1400s dealing.
Spoilers for the
gods.
older Assassin's Creed. Like, I don't think anyone's going to play. They killed off Desmond, who was the main character, kind of thing.
He was shite, though.
He was shite, and then they deified him. He became a god in the narrative.
Oh, fuck off.
So Desmond is the reason why the world's fucked up. Oh god, he's so crap. The modern day stuff on Assassin's Creed is so fucking crap.
At least Leonardo da Vinci was done pretty funny.
He was incredible.
He was Jaskier before Jaskier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the mailbag.
Mailbag complete and not missold at all. And we're near to the end of this, but we need to know what we're doing next week.
Well, before I tell you, I'll drop a couple of socials if that's all right.
Yeah, go on then.
I'll treat you, yeah. So you can visit our website, modernescapism.co.uk, and you can find a link to all of our social details, contact details, social media, all that. Or in our merch store, and we promise not to missell you anything, because it's all brilliant.
It is really good.
If you have any comments or feedback, you can fill out a form on our website, tweet us, or email us on modernescapismpod@gmail.com. And we've also got a wonderful Discord server if you want to come and have a chat with us or an argument with us.
People are coming in.
Or, just any feedback at all.
I'd love to say limited spaces, but it's not limited. Just come in.
It's a free-for-all.
This is a fun, happy place.
It's a hive of scum and villainy. It's wonderful.
Yeah, mainly villainy.
Mostly villainy. A bit of pornography as well sometimes. Twitch, You can find us on twitch.tv/modernescapism if you want to see us play along to some games. Gadget's got a nice stream at the moment of him playing Elden Ring. Not found Elden's Ring yet. And we have Biggie playing... we have Biggie playing Dark Souls. It is Dark Souls, isn't it?
Yeah, fuck
it's Dark Souls.
Yeah, 15-year-old game.
It says fuck that game, so he might not be playing. Well,
you're stuck in the archives. It's one of the better areas. I love the archives.
We love to see it, though.
Glad you do.
The people are there for you being stuck.
You should have seen him constantly spinning the stairs around trying to work out where he went. He ended up heading back towards the original bonfire in the archives.
What Lord Souls do you have, Biggie? What big bosses have you killed?
He hasn't got any of the Lord Souls yet.
You've gone to archives first.
See, this is what I get no help. I get stuck in the catacombs. They say go somewhere else. So I go and
I need to go into your streams, mate.
I go
and
into
just
the
at least talk
archives.
to you.
I'm thinking I'm doing okay, and then you say that. What's that supposed to mean?
He started going down to Tomb of the Giants. He beat Pinwheel. He got the Tomb of the Giants, realised he couldn't see fuck all because he doesn't have a lantern or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
So he decided to go a different direction. He didn't fancy taking on New Londo Ruin, so he's gone straight up to the archives.
Do Lost Eyes live first? You'll get a torch as well while you're there.
Buy a lantern in
Why did I go
Dark
there?
Souls? Because that's one of the first things I did in Elden Ring was like, a lantern. I could just hook that to my belt and run around in the dark.
You can buy a torch, or you can get a helmet that's got a lantern attached.
Yeah, which no one tells you about.
You could just buy.
I've been
discover this yourself.
Yeah, we did when we played it.
Anyway, you can catch all this excitement on a Monday evening. We've spoken about our Patreon already, and you can find that on patreon.com/modernescapism. Or if you do want to support us in a non-financial way, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you can. We love to hear your feedback. Now, next week, we have a... we are doing the crisps, aren't we?
Just trying to remember what it was.
I forgot.
Yeah, we're going to eat crisps.
How many wines have you
live
had?
on the podcast?
So,
you're fucking not.
A bit of context.
I'm not editing that.
I'm going to mute it.
No, he's not.
I am. I'm going to get the crisps and taste them as we do it.
Yeah, that's good. Good idea.
We need to draw a
little bit of context for people that are new. Yeah, we're going to do that in the green room. People that are new to this show, because I know we get a few new listeners now and again. A few times a year we do these big episodes where it's basically a knockout tournament. We basically copied computer game shows knockout like tournament that they do every year.
And the sequelizers, director's best films. Thing that they do.
We just do it. We just do it with things that are fucking stupid. So we did it with the famous episode, Biscuits. We've done movies.
There's still a lot of consternation
Biscuits
about
is fine. Rightful winner. That's how it works.
It does get very heated.
After Biscuits, after Biscuits, the listeners demanded we do crisps, and there's only one man here that could take on the mantle as crisp lord, and that's Biggie. He wanted to take this episode himself as the crisp master general. It's going to be good.
I've eaten crisps.
It's going to be one of those episodes. It's going to be one of those episodes like Stig's bringing crisps. You're going to want a lot of beer to listen to it. You're going to put it on at a party. You know what I mean?
Crisp along with us if you'd like.
Yeah.
What, 2 hours of us arguing about crisps? That's really going to go down well at the party.
It's going to be the event of the spring. Are we in spring yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It's going to be the event. It's going to be huge, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be aggressive, and again, whichever wins is the official best crisp, like the best biscuit. People still moan, but it's the official best biscuit. Jurassic Park's the official best film.
Fact.
It's simple. Our rules are infallible. You can't argue with the winner. So,
Stig, did you win best biscuit and best film?
Yeah.
He's going for the hat trick this time. You know what he's like, Mr. Competitive.
It's
over
not
there.
me.
He's
I
gonna
just
come out with
if I pick the stuff that other like I love, but other people
it's
love.
not me. I've just got great taste.
Exactly.
And this is a preview of what it'll sound like next week.
It's going to be incredible. Tell your
Did
friends.
win Mastermind though, did you?
Well, the
Or
questions
best game.
were terrible, weren't they?
Go on. Speaking of which, you said.
And there was Death Stranding bias, so you know.
No, there is that. Let's not talk about vehicles. So it's going to be great.
This episode we are recording that on a Friday night. So if you do have feedback and you want to get in any feedback on what you think is the best crisp, then you need to get that into us before Friday. So
we're going to put it on Twitter earlier than the episode, obviously.
Yeah, but the episode will still come out at the normal time, but we have to record early that week.
Yeah, because we're off on his jollies to Newcastle. Yay! But yeah, that's been the episode. We're going to meet you in the green room. We're going to do our crisp nominations as well, aren't we? In the green room. So patrons, they get even. Oh God, it's so tasty. For everyone else that's not a patron, become one. But thank you anyway. So good night.
Bye.
Bye.
I need to stop fucking drinking, me.